So we do what's handle on the mic from Leo's Paradise. Random stream drop like a Dragon Ball fight. No lie, plan stream stacking up, but here's a twist in time. Freestyling on the deck like Luffy's punchlines. Up the channel's faceting, Zoro sword swings. Gaming pop culture, it's the chaos he brings. Talking movie reboots, superhero hype. Hondo passing the mic, now Bishop's in sight. Cutting flip screen, frame by frame, I align. Laying bass lines heavy, keep the rhythm divine. Dropping 5 videos, can't keep up with the pace. Pass the mic back, Leo's leading the chase. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. No script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. The rails, no script, just a freestyle rhyme. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life.
Hey, welcome back to the lunch hour, although at this point the lunch hour is probably mostly almost over for many of you guys. So yeah, how are you Vital Idols doing? I must say, I am quite sorry about being an hour late. Needless to say, I see a lot of people say, about time, what happened, things to that fact. Yeah, so Neon Leon went real good last night. We wrapped up around, 3:30 a.m. I started setting up this stream, immediately went to bed. And I just straight up forgot to set an alarm. I won't even lie. Your boy just completely forgot to set an alarm. It's as simple as that. Fault is entirely my own. Nothing crazy. Nothing like for you guys to worry about. Or just like next thing I know, like I'm laying in bed. I'm actually having a really good dream. I'm having a dream that I'm meeting Michael J. Fox, the voice actor for Milo from Atlantis, and he's asking me about Hondo because in the dream. And so it's like, and then I was like, my phone starts going off, and it wakes me up. It's like, why the fuck is AJ calling me? And I see it's almost 2 o'clock. It's like, what the fuck? How did I sleep this long? Like, it was insane. So, yeah, we're here now, though. I slept good. Slept real good. So, there's that. Delta Striker out the gate, becoming a Vital Idol. So you love to see that. Pre-stream legend. Very pre-stream. So, my man, truly appreciate it. Let's get you a clip.
Now excuse me while I harass someone for having pronouns in their bio.
So yeah, mash out. Thanks, Delta Striker. Schizosaurus in the house. Blue collar loser. Golden apples. Benji Alucard is here. Yeah, no, Schizosaurus. I didn't put the wrong time. That one was on. That was just definitely on me. And yeah, I overslept. I didn't set an alarm or anything. AJ is here again. AJ, thank you so much for thanks so much for the literal wake up call. No worries, Leon. Take as much time as you need. Make sure you're good to go. Your health is priority first and foremost. Yeah, man. I don't know what it was. It's not like I was especially tired. I haven't been sleeping or anything. I just said passed after Neon Leon and just fucking was just out. Sleepy Nova's in the house. Zax, how you doing, brother, man? Kenneth Rins, Domingo, Collective Post-Wall Karens, Illumis Anonymous, Sammy, Yodi, Charlie Nuclear is here. Reception still sucks. Don't know if I'll be able to watch the stream. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. Mr. Monkey is here. Speaking of Mr. Monkey, you just being here is a perfect segue because Atraeus. Yes, like I said, every every Leon lunch hour, we're not going to have to, I decided to do, react to one of my buddies' videos. We've done Cult Classic Cage, we've done Smash JT, we've done Hypno, but now we got a boy Atraeus, and Atraeus, first of all, man, 291 views a day ago. Atraeus in the same boat as me. Shit not doing so hot, right? And you know what? It happens. For I don't know what it is. Live streams do well. You guys show up, you show out. Like the live streams do awesome. Videos, for whatever reason, just ain't be clicking. And Atraeus is in the same boat. So make sure if you show me love, you show him love as well. We're gonna react to his video about Nintendo. Like they didn't shut down the charity event in its entirety, but from what I understand, they did shut down any and all use of Nintendo games at the charity event. So like, then what's even the point? But I don't know much about the situation, so we're gonna let Atraeus tell us about it. We're gonna react to it. We're gonna make sure Atraeus gets the love that he deserves. And yeah, we'll get into it. Cryptic Manga, how you doing, homie? Dial Bro is here. How you doing? LMA, one of the reasons I had this profile pic, Irritated Frog. All right, fair enough. All right, let's break this down. Let's try out Nintendo just attacked a charity event. Before we do that, let's go ahead and drop. Okay, give my boy a like already. All right, let's do it.
I have to believe that at this point, Nintendo is just trolling. I have to believe that at this point, Nintendo is just trolling, right? Like, I feel like Nintendo believes they're at the end of the game, the open world game that they've been playing, and they've run out of missions. There's no more armor or weapons to collect or anything like that. At this point, they just got, like, everything maxed out, all of their weapons maxed out, armor maxed out, all legendary weapons, all achievements killed, and they just won't leave the game. They just going around piecing up NPCs. It's like,
I'll be real. This is Atraeus, right? He's been doing this lately. He's been dropping some like really insightful or metaphorical shit. Like, he and I were texting the other day, right? When the Gina Carano stuff happened, not last night, but the day before. And everyone was, throwing a bitch fit about Gina Carano and it not going to Discovery. And he sends this, like, eloquent 3-paragraph text about how people were expecting too much of her and how this is a dub and people were projecting their wants and needs for Disney onto Gina and how that's not her responsibility. I was like, God damn, Atraeus, that was insightful. And now he just drops 30 seconds of, like, yeah, Nintendo, they're the end of the open world RPG, and just dropped all these video game fucking metaphors. Like, I don't know what's going on. This is some like invasion of the body snatcher shit or whatnot. But Atraeus has been hella insightful lately. And like, I'm kind of digging it. Because yeah, that was an excellent way to put all of that. Anyway, let's keep going.
you're just an NPC sitting there minding your business, and here come Nintendo. What's up, bitch? I beat the game, nigga, in 20 hours. Nigga, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah, bop. Yeah, bop. And then won't even kill you right away. He just beating you. And then when you got 1 HP left, he's like, yeah, teabag. That's what I feel like Nintendo is doing, because the villain arc of the Nintendo company is crazy. They're just dunking on gamers. These people don't like gamers. They like money. Okay, that's it. And everything they do shows you that. So before we get into today's story about Nintendo being the evil little company that they are, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you subscribe to New Black Street as well. By the way, if you want to donate to a homeless Negro, you know what I'm saying? I'm not homeless. A broke Negro. And I'm broke because I'm not homeless. Venmo and Cash App are in the description. Help me. Okay, help.
All right, yeah, like, again, I don't know how many of y'all, because I know that obviously all of us on the Saturday Night Hypnosis Sphere have some crossover. You know, the Bigot Army, the Vital Idols, you know, Badgers Bastards, the Cabal, the whole nine. But Atraeus, like, he does deserve it. Dude is a fucking great content creator. I know I spent all last night fucking, like, glazing Cassie and shit. Pause. But yeah, no, Atraeus is a great content creator, and seeing, like, that first minute and a half of this video was, like, straight up gold, and this video got fucking 291 views. That's criminal, dog. That's criminal. Make sure y'all be showing Atraeus love, not just on New Black Street, but like on his specific channel. In fact, if there's any of y'all for whatever reason ain't subbed to Atraeus, I don't even do this till the end of the video. I'm dropping the video now for y'all to just make sure you get a sub from him real quick. And it's like, this is gonna sound really like douchey, but don't sub if you're not gonna watch the content. Like to Atraeus or to me or Cass or anyone, because dead subs hurt channels. So like, again, Atraeus content deserves to be watched. But anyway, let's keep going.
Anyway, let's get into this gobbledygook, man. So here's the latest on Nintendo. I ain't have to make it that small. All right, Nintendo has forced Japan's biggest speedrun charity event, RTA, to remove its games. After years of use, they told them each title now requires approval.
Now, this is the retarded aspect of it. Like, okay, part of me, like, does get it from a legal standpoint, but by the same token, it's not like Nintendo was, okay, this is so stupid. So, yes, technically you're supposed to ask permission because you're using these people's games in an event that's like a sanctioned, because if I understand correctly, this charity event RTA is an actual business, right? They're an actual event, they're an actual business, and so there's probably taxes that go into it. Yes, I get that Nintendo would want, if you're using their stuff in an official event, for this to be done. That being said, no other company does this. Nintendo didn't used to do this. They don't care. They're just doing this shit to flex. And it's absolute bullshit. They're not saying you can't use our games. We're saying you need to ask permission. Alright, but what are the odds you say fucking yes or no to that? Like, Nintendo, the reason people throw, like, small-time Smash Bros. Tournaments instead of huge, giant ones is because Nintendo's been known to turn that shit down. Nintendo's been known to be like, no, no Smash tournaments. We're not getting a cut of it. There could be people out there, like, doing nefarious shit and whatnot, and we don't want that to blow back on us. So, most of the time, people just don't ask permission. They just throw them. And Nintendo's been known to shut down Smash tournaments, especially when they get big enough. So, now when Nintendo's saying, you just have to ask our permission for charity streams. Like, okay, that's all well and good, assuming you'd say yes. But considering what we've seen you do with the Smash Bros. Community, now, how do we even know if you'll say yes? It is straight up nefarious bullshit. Matt Stanford, I forgot you were streaming today. I repent. Dude, don't worry. I was an hour late to my own goddamn stream because I was asleep. Trust me, you're good. Mr. Monkey for a 5-banger. You glaze Cassie, I'm gonna blend in. It's gonna blend in like white out on loose leaf. Aye, hold on.
That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid.
You put Casey. I fixed that shit, because you ain't gonna catch me saying that with a dude's name. Let's go.
Y'all game banging on charity events? Why? Leave these people alone, man. These ain't even Americans. These your peoples. You terrorizing the charity event?
Wait. RTA? Oh, yes, it's Japan's biggest speedrun charity event. Holy shit. I missed that part. I didn't even realize it was a Japanese charity streaming event. Oh, shit. Trace is right. These are your people, dog. Damn.
No. Holy, let's get a good little gobble out of this article really quick and see what they talking about. Shout out to Dextero, man. They always bringing the news sources. Nintendo has issued a warning to a speed running. Will you get out of here with these ads? Move. A speed running charity event in Japan, which led to the organizers pulling its games from their lineup. Okay, as the biggest charity speed running series in Japan, many had been looking forward to the RTA Summer 2025 event. The marathon, which takes place from August 9th to August 15th, 2025, first showcased its lineup of games back in June.
Bro, that's a dope ass, that's a good length of time for a charity event. Imagine that, like August 9th through August 15th. That is a solid run. I bet you could, because if you've got all different manner of streamers, all different manner of games, all different manner of genres, companies, I bet that could raise some serious money. And again, Nintendo's probably just upstate spaghetti because it's a third-party independent thing. Nintendo's not involved, so they don't get the good press. It's as simple as that. If somebody's going to be speedrunning fucking Breath of the Wild, which I don't know how you could possibly do, but if someone be speedrunning Breath of the Wild, and they're the one, and this, RTS or sorry, RTA is getting the credit for it, or the streamer themselves is getting the credit for it, and Nintendo's not getting any of the good press, yeah, that's probably why they shut this shit down. It has nothing to do with the fact that, like, oh, it's our company and it's our games and the IP is sacred and we want to make sure it's not being used for nefarious purposes or whatnot like they claim with Smash Bros. It's probably like, well, why aren't we getting all the accolades for charity, even though we've just pissed off our entire consumer base in the last fucking 2 months?
From Cuphead, Silent Hill 2, to the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, and many others, there are
Aight, completely unrelated. But like I said in my Breath of the Wild shit, how the fuck do you speedrun Skyrim? Like, what the fuck does a Skyrim speedrun look like? I've never played Skyrim. So, I mean, but from what I know, considering I'm still a gamer and I know how fucking Skyrim works, I played Fallout, like, it's the same. How the fuck someone gonna speedrun Fallout? That is bananas.
Plenty of popular titles that gamers are familiar with. However, if there's one thing that's noticeable, it's the lack of Nintendo games, okay? According to Automaton, all right? There was no official explanation behind this at the time. However, now the event organizers have shed some light on the situation, revealing that the exclusion of Nintendo titles was due to them getting a warning, okay? On their website, they explained that they were contacted by Nintendo and were told that as a legal entity, they have to ask permission in advance to feature their games during the event June 13, 2025. Come on, Nintendo. What the hell? Why? You know who Nintendo is? Y'all know who Nintendo is?
Tell me, Atraeus, tell me. Bro, if you told little fucking 9-year-old Leon, right, that was like just going ham on Super Mario World, dude. Like, man, 9 years old, Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, on the SNES, that shit was my jam, son. I would come home from school, I would pop on Dragon Ball Z, because he was doing the Toonami afternoons, right? And after Dragon Ball Z was over, hours, son. Hours on Super Mario World. I was practicing my speedrun strats, didn't even know what a speedrun was. Just like, how fast can I beat this fucking level? How fast can I beat this game? And me and my little brother would play it, right? And I would do the whole, if I was dying, I would make him be Luigi, and I would use that trick where you could steal lives from your partner and whatnot. I mean, like, don't worry, I'll get a bunch of extra lives, and I'll give them back to you. And then he'd get a fucking game over, because he's 5 years younger, so he's like 4 years old. And I was like, sorry, I guess you just gotta wait till I get a game over. Then we back in, because I was a shithead older brother, because all older brothers are. It's base. If you had told 9-year-old Leon that, like, the ultimate evil, big bad evil guy video game company would be Nintendo, man, I wouldn't have believed you. I, like, tried to throw little 9-year-old hands with some noodly arms and shit. Wouldn't have done it, but it truly is heartbreaking. And I still will buy a Switch 2 when a new Zelda game comes out, because your boy's addicted. Because that shit's like fucking crack. Did I just turn into Eric July there for a sec?
Nintendo is the Hand. You know who I'm talking about? From the Daredevil series? These niggas are the Hand, okay?
Dude, Atraeus is a real fucking nerd. I'll be real. Like dude understands sports, and dude straight up a hood rat. But like, he's a nerd. Like, he came out, first minute and a half of this video was using all these esoteric, open world RPG references, and now he's comparing Nintendo to the Hand from Daredevil. What a fucking G.
They operate in the shadows. You never hear from them. It's just when they want something, they take something, and when you don't, and when you do something they don't like, they just make you disappear, and then resurrect you as a damn slave. Holy. Nintendo also stated that all previous streams featuring their games constitute unauthorized use. Given that the RTA hopes to stream Nintendo games at future events, the organizers have decided to comply with the permission request and have begun negotiations with the company. Because of this.
See, and I'm mixed on this. So RTA hopes to stream Nintendo games at future events. So they've decided to comply with the request. Part of me is like, nah, Nintendo straight up, dogged you. So say fuck them. Don't comply with shit. Say fuck them and move forward anyway. But it's for charity. And how many motherfuckers Nintendo fanboys are going to show up just to see some Nintendo speedruns, right? And, like, they're going to be donating their yin or what the fuck ever to help, like, Japanese cancer kids. I didn't even know the Japanese people got cancer, aside from Satoshi Kon, R.I.P. But, like, yeah, so I get being compliant because this is a charity event. And you want to give, like, the best show possible, because that's what's going to get the best money possible, which means the most donations possible, which means the most help for your charity possible, right? This shit's cyclical. But by the same token, there's that pride in me that wants to be like, fuck you if I was running the event, straight up Vegeta style, my pride! Like.
However, they explained that the game application guidelines and requirements are expected to change, though they'll provide information as soon as they. Bro, what is the problem with niggas just playing your games? What? I would love to know, and I feel like we'll never get this. In 100 years, we'll never get this. Where does Nintendo get their mentality? Was there something that happened? Was there a lawsuit? Did you lose a lawsuit?
So is this where's Nintendo get their mentality? I think that Jin T. Maxey actually kind of nails it. I'm picturing an aged-out Japanese executive who's so boomer he's no longer keeping up with the kids, and it's compensating by suing everyone else. I legit think that is where Nintendo gets their mentality. Like, they are straight-up old-school Japanese. Like, that's. In Japan, I don't know how many of y'all know about this, right? Because I got some buddies that live in Japan that are in the YouTube game. They've told me about this. Like, Japanese has no such thing as fair use. Like, we all talk about fair use, like, oh, why'd you copyright strike my video? It's fair use. And like, we fight it and we win, shit like that. There is no such thing as fair use in Japan. They don't have that law whatsoever. So if you're going to be like an anime reviewer in Japan, dude, they don't even show stills of the anime. Or if they do, it's so heavily blurred out, it may as well not be there. So like, talking about, you know, anything that is owned by a Japanese company in Japan, they are so terrified of like copyright law and whatnot, they shut that shit down. So yeah, I absolutely think that it's because these Japanese executives, whether it be Nintendo or Toei Animation or anyone else, like, they are just out of touch with how modern day, trialing of information and whatnot works. Because Nintendo could have a goddamn golden goose if they embraced streaming culture, but they don't. And how much of it is because it's, again, this is not to cap for Nintendo. It's wrong no matter how you slice it. But how much of it is because they're like prickly little bitches about their IP, or how much of it is, like Jin T. Maxey said, there's old out of touch motherfuckers who do not understand the modern zeitgeist. Like, dude, they didn't even have HD on the Wii when the PS3 and Xbox 360, and I love the Wii, I'm not dogging the Wii, but they were still using RCA cables when the other two went full fucking HDMI. Like, Nintendo's online, dude, the only servers they maintained as for good online play for the Switch was Mario Kart. Bro, Nintendo, I don't know who gotta tell you this, Smash Bros is a way bigger online community than motherfucking Mario Kart. Why was you not maintaining your online Smash Bros servers, you dumb sons of bitches? So yeah, I think Jin T. Max nails it.
Have a negative impact on sales because of, like, I don't get it. I understand going after emulators. I get that. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? You feel like niggas is playing your games for the free ski. You might have a little problem with that. You know what I'm saying?
Like Atraeus, I do understand that, though I vehemently disagree with it because the vast majority of these motherfucking games people emulate aren't even available on proper hardware. Like, dude, Luigi's Mansion was on the goddamn GameCube. You ain't selling Luigi's Mansion for no modern consoles and shit. You ain't making money off Luigi's fucking Mansion. If someone wants to emulate Luigi's Mansion and stream that bitch, it's not like Nintendo's losing any of that bling. Like, nah, I highly disagree. I mean, again, I do get it from a legal perspective, from a business perspective. Fuck that shit.
But some of the stuff, like, remember Nintendo's, let me get bigger on you. Pause. So y'all can get a good little gobble out of this. Remember Nintendo's old YouTube guidelines? Like, if you was a YouTube content creator, like, I forgot what it was. Like, you had to register with Nintendo. You had to sign.
I remember that.
Rights. You had to donate a nut. Nintendo is crazy.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know what he's talking about, several years ago, I don't remember what the year was. Like, if I had to just, whip something out, pause, I would say like 2017, I think maybe. Maybe it's even earlier than that. Maybe it was like 2015. Either way, Nintendo was like shutting streams down, son. You be streaming a Nintendo game, they're like, nope, outski. That shit got blocked, got yanked off the platform. Not just YouTube, like Twitch. Nintendo's just started cracking down on streaming, and there was a outcry, not just from streamers, but like, if I remember right, even like from head honchos at Twitch and shit like this, because this is back in the day when Twitch, wasn't a complete and utter cesspool and hive of scum and villainy, and so everyone started bitching and moaning, and Nintendo's like, we're sorry, we didn't understand modern streaming culture, here's what we'll do, and they like, we'll meet you in the middle, and they came up with these insane rules and stipulations for the Nintendo Partner Program, where you effectively had to sign away your fucking firstborn child to stream Nintendo games. I don't know whatever happened with the Nintendo Partner Program. I don't know if it's still going or what. I would imagine not, considering all the shit that's been happening surrounding them lately. But yeah, no, for those of you who don't know what Atraeus is talking about, he is exactly correct. That was a diabolical thing several years ago. Matt Stanford says Nintendo was forcing streamers to sign Nintendo exclusivity contract if you wanted to stream their games. It had to be Nintendo only. That may have been part of it. I don't recall that part, but I mean, I don't have any reason to doubt it.
And I got to be honest with you, I can't really justify even talking about Nintendo all the time because people don't be caring. They be like, oh, that's a video about Nintendo? Yeah, curved. But I talk about the stuff that I like to talk about because I'm obviously not a grifter. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? Grift God in the building. Follow me on Twitter. Yeah, this is why would you do this? A charity? They not even doing it for profit. They doing it for charity. And you decided, y'all, fuck your charity. Take our games up out of there. Why don't Xbox or PlayStation do this?
There is a small part of me that's like, well, depending on the charity, I might side with Nintendo. Because, like, imagine these fucking cancer kids, right? I'd be like, Nintendo might be right. Nintendo might be right. Fuck them cancer kids. Like, only 2% of all charity donations actually ever go to cancer kids, and the rest go to, like, funding the profits and the people setting up the charities. So if I was Nintendo, I'd be like, yeah, fuck them cancer kids. But, again, I'm cynical about cancer charities, so.
Or any other publisher. Like, what is the problem? Like, I see y'all playing my game. Free promo. Some people at your charity event might see y'all playing this game.
I mean, dude, Atraeus is right, though. Imagine, so I'm reacting to his video, right? I'm reacting to his video. Imagine if he was like, Leon reacting to one of my videos? Fuck that, I'm gonna copy strike the motherfucker. Like, no. That makes no goddamn sense. I'm out here giving Atraeus free promo. Some of you guys, and even though we share an audience, some of you guys might not know his content or only see him on SNH or sub to him or whatnot. But then you see him doing a dope-ass video like this, and you're like, yo, maybe this Atraeus guy is actually also worth watching. And because of this video, because of my reaction to it, you guys sub and you start watching his shit and whatnot. Like, yeah, he's exactly correct.
Like, damn, I really want to play that game. I got to go and buy it. And we own the game, bitch. We bought it. I just don't get it. Somebody let me know in the comments, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grip be with you. I'll talk to you later. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, dope video from Atraeus. I mean, what a shot. Atraeus is great at what he does. Again, I think Atraeus literally is criminally underrated. Like we see him on SNH, and he's just making jokes and like, subscribe. Like, you know what? Atraeus does great shit on his own channel. He's a lot like me. I think it was, who was it? It was Jamalama. When I was streaming with fucking Niat last night, and, you know, Jamalama being the great mod that he is, was throwing up everyone's links during the outros, and he was like, oh, yo, shout out, thanks, Cryptic, I'll read that in just a sec. Jamalama threw up my link, and he's like, subscribe to Leon, Words of Paradise. He actually makes sense on his own channel. And I was like, hey, yo, fuck you. But that was funny. Like, that was funny as hell. Atraeus is the same way, and that he is the same person on SNH, because SNH is like a different format. I feel like you don't get a good idea of Atraeus' content on SNH because everyone's just like vying to talk and wanting to make jokes and shit like that. So if you're looking at SNH as like an encapsulation of Atraeus' video content, you're not going to see it. I mean, so just like Jam's joke about like sub to Leon, he actually makes sense on his channel. It's the same for Atraeus in a way. So yeah, I mean, that was a great video. Sub to your boy if you haven't. I threw the link in the chat for you guys to saw it. Cryptic manga for a 5-banger. His name is Atraeus. Oh, I know him as Bubbles or Gripgrod. Lol. All right.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, mad shout out, Cryptic Manga. Thanks a million, homie. Truly appreciated. Nintendo Creator Program officially ended in December 2018. Wow, what a shot. Saying they no longer require approval or share ad revenue for streaming. Yeah, I wonder what the real reason was, I wonder what the real reason was. Alright, did I see, I think I saw Piranha Pout's alt account in here. Yeah, Gamer Girl 0. YouTube blocked me from chat again after I pay for a super. What? That's gay as shit. Wait, you paid for a super? Did I miss it? Yo, it's not even showing. Oh, okay, here it is. Working this Saturday, there's a 5 for the Atraeus video, you monkey lover. Damn it. I still need to upload the shit to OBS. It says StreamYard. I don't have the monkey lover clip. Damn. Alright, well, instead, you'll get this one.
I know now that it could never work between us. Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
There you go. Thank you so much, Piranha Pout. Truly appreciate it. Alright, let's get political, guys. Let's get political. I ain't seen this video yet. It popped up in my recommended results. And I won't lie, I'm not sure why it popped up, because I've never, at least to my knowledge, watched a Charlie Kirk video from the Charlie Kirk channel. Now, I've seen him appear with like other political streamers, political YouTubers and whatnot that I do watch. You know, I've seen like Asmongold react to him. I've seen Tim Pool and whatnot. However, I think this is some targeted advertising shit because I was talking about the South Park Charlie Kirk episode on X. I think I may have brought it up on various streams, and I think just because I have said the words Charlie Kirk so much out loud in the last like 48 to 72 hours, YouTube just started recommending me Charlie Kirk shit, even though I've never watched one of his videos. But this particular one did catch my eye. The best gun debate I've had in years. And I'm curious what case for a gun debate Charlie Kirk could find impressive. So, let's check this out and be a great reminder to y'all as to why 2A stands above all else.
Hey, Charlie, how are you?
That seems a bit quiet. I'm going to go ahead and boost the volume a little bit. One moment here. All right, there we go.
I just had a question on your thoughts on if we need more gun control in the country or not. You know, I'm very pro protecting America and the citizens that live in it. And so I think that we should have more gun control because there's a lot of school shootings that happen, as we mentioned. And, you know, I just think it would do a lot to protect the people.
All right, how's the audio for you guys? Because I really can't boost it any more than this. And Charlie's voice might be louder. Maybe this guy's just bad at speaking into the mic. But for those of you that didn't hear what he said, he was stating that he's very pro-America, pro-American, but he thinks due to the amount of school shootings and whatnot and protecting Americans, we should see more gun control. So, yeah, let me know if you guys can hear it fine. Dax is sounding good. Quiet, but not too quiet. Charlie will probably be louder because he can speak into the mic, and if that ends up blowing y'all's eardrums out, my bad. Let me know. But yeah, so this is the best the audio's gonna get on this one, unfortunately. I think there's a Chrome extension that boosts audio. I'll need to look into that. All right, let's go.
I think the Second Amendment also qualifies that we should have regulations for guns. I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Sure. Do you think gun ownership is a right or a privilege?
I think it's a right, but it comes with responsibilities.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, I think that...
Now, I think, to be fair, I agree with this dude that it is a right, but comes with responsibilities. That's actually a good statement. I don't know what he's going to say in response, but responsibilities does not mean it is up to the government to tell you what those responsibilities are. That's the thing. Like Spider-Man, the lesson we all take from Spider-Man is with great power comes great responsibility, right? Spider-Man's responsibility ain't dictated by the government. It's self-imposed responsibility. So yes, safe gun ownership does come with responsibility, but it's your own self-imposed responsibility.
There should be things in place, you know, things like red flag laws and things like that. You know, the AG just approved Mel Gibson to get his gun rights back, even though he had a domestic violence charge. So, you know, I don't think the people that commit these violent crimes should be able to buy guns and things like that. And I think we should have red flag laws in place to make sure that those violent criminals aren't getting guns.
Okay, so let's go. So tell me, in your perfect world, what would constitute a red flag?
I mean, just things like, you know, we can look into any kind of medication and things like that that can affect someone's...
That could be dangerous, right? I mean, that could be
compromised.
I mean, there's a lot of vets that come home from war and that are on a lot of medication. A lot of vets could have their weapons taken away.
Well, I'm not necessarily...
I also don't like the idea of looking into medications for gun control because, like, to be fair, I get the argument. I do. I don't agree with the argument, but I get the argument. And, like, look, certain people are on certain medication because they can be a little, like, crazy in the coconut, right? Now, that being said, while I understand the mentality, call me crazy, but I don't want the government to know about what the fuck I'm doing with, you know, with my body in terms of if it's medication I'm taking for. Also, so many medications have wacky ass side effects that affect like 1% of the population that I don't know if that's even a good judge or a good barometer of someone's mental state. That's just more information that the government has on you and can use against you to bully you. And the government is effectively a people elected mafia. So while I get his mentality and appreciate he's trying to be sane about it, I still disagree. I think the cons outweigh the pros.
Really saying, bless you.
Thank you. It's the pollen or something. Thank you.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying, like, it's mainly to prevent, you know, future shootings and things like that, and also, you know, putting in place things like a federal registry so that we know, you know, the types of guns that people have, and, you know, it would just essentially be a federal registry that shows these are the guns that this person has, you know, in case a cop has to go on something like a domestic call. That's the most dangerous call they can go on. So.
Yeah. Now, I vehemently disagree with this. First of all, that domestics are one of the most dangerous things a cop can go on. Let's be like, I don't know how much y'all know. I've said this before. Well, I did not last very long at all. Barely 3 months. I am an ex-cop. Yeah, no, it is not. Those are some of the most dangerous a cop can go on. That being said, just because you are told to register your guns and firearms and whatnot, doesn't mean motherfuckers can't lie. So if you got good law-abiding citizens that, you know, it's the same argument as like gun-free zones. This is the exact same. Gun-free zones. Oh, well, that just means that now the bad guys that break the law are going to have guns, but the good people won't. A registry is the exact same way. So you're going to get these good law-abiding citizens who are like, oh, the government's looking out for my best interests. All right, well, these law-abiding citizens are idiots, but, you know, they're useful idiots. So they're going to be honest about what guns they have. Then you're going to get people that are, you know, based, be like, yeah, government don't need to fucking know shit, and they're just going to either lie or minimize or downplay. It's like, yeah, I have an AR-17 put down the registry. Well, they also got like 12 other guns because they're fucking based. Like, sorry, that doesn't... Just making something illegal or a requirement doesn't actually make the people inherently roll with it. People who want to break the rules are going to break the rules. And that'd be a good rule to break. Some rules are made to be broken.
I can see you're coming after this from a good perspective. Let me ask one other question. What would you say is the ultimate and final purpose of the Second Amendment?
I was coughing. I got to rewind that. I didn't hear that. I was coughing.
I can see you're coming after this from a good perspective. Let me ask one other question. What would you say is the ultimate and final purpose of the Second Amendment?
I think it's self-defense against a tyrannical government, which...
We agree.
All right. Oh, you know what? I disagree with this dude's sentiment about gun control, but at least he actually understands what 2A is for. I will give credit there. Self-defense against a tyrannical government. Now, if he knows that, but still thinks these guns should be registered with the government, I don't know how he comes to that conclusion, but at least he knows.
Sure, great. Keep going.
Well, but I think within the Second Amendment, it also implies that we have high regulations in the first 4 words.
Sort of.
Of
Well-regulated militia
right.
actually meant well-armed, but that's a separate issue. But like,
well, how do you know? You're interpreting what the Founding Fathers
well,
put
they
in.
said it in the Federalist Papers, right? So it's not just me, but also in the Heller decision, in the 5-4 decision, that said that gun ownership was a right. This was a hotly debated thing.
But do you disagree? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you like disagree with the idea of like a federal registry like that?
Oh, without a doubt. The only reason.
So I hear this argument all the time. In fact, this got brought up at the police academy. The difference between an armed citizen and a well-regulated militia, and a lot of people have this thought. They think that a well-regulated militia means that it's regulated by the government. No. They were talking about self-regulation. Like, the people are the militia, and they are trusted to do it themselves because that's, at the end of the day, that's what individualism, that's what our freedoms are about, especially since a well-regulated militia is meant to be a counteroffensive to a tyrannical government. So yeah, this is, like Charlie said, this has been looked at by legal scholar after legal scholar, and everyone's pretty much come to the same consensus about what regulated meant. So, I mean, again, what were those soldiers called back in the days? The regulars. They mean regular as in they're normal dudes. Regulars as in, you know, regulated. So, yeah, this is a common misconception. I don't blame the dude for having this thought. I mean, it is worded oddly when you look at it by 2025 standards.
The reason you'd want to register the guns is if you want to confiscate them.
Well, or to make sure that people like officers of the law are protected and know what they're going into. I mean, a domestic...
Again, that's a good argument,
right?
To your credit. I will try to make a better argument where the problem of the government knowing where every gun is would then lead itself towards mass confiscation. And I would agree with you, a well-armed citizenry is the greatest protectorate of liberty and freedom in this country.
Even though the Army has...
Now, as far as keeping the police safe and whatnot, look, this is gonna sound cold, it's gonna sound callous, but it is what it is. Look, this is the job they signed up for. It's the job they paid for. Or they are paid to do, I should say. That's going to come with certain risks. Now, frankly, I think our law enforcement officers should be paid more for the risks they go through. By the same token, I also say, fuck the police. I hate them because they're dogs of the state. I'm very mixed in my... I'm very much back to blue in theory, in concept, but also they still dogs the state that were coming in, shutting down businesses for not having masks and whatnot during COVID because they were, following the will of the government and not the will of the people. Like, it's absolute bullshit in that regard. So, yeah, I'm very mixed on my support for police. I support the idea, like, I'm an anarcho-capitalist. If I had it my way, police would be privately funded. It wouldn't be fucking taxpayer money. It'd be private funding. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, when it comes to the gun should be registered so the police know going in what sorts of what the danger level is going to be, the scenario or the situation. I'm sorry, no. The risk outweighs the reward. That gap in knowledge, while it might be better for the cops to have it, it is a very much an infraction upon our freedoms. So, look, you're paid to do this job. If you can't handle that level of uncertainty, then you just weren't made to be a cop. Yeah, oh, dude, Serpico, I shit you not, we did a whole day of training in the academy dedicated to, the Serpico story.
As things like drones and tanks and things like that outarm, citizens that have
yes and
just
no.
a
I
handgun.
mean, we've seen it in several instances where at least a citizen, that's a good argument, but I would say a little flawed, where the citizens are able to protect themselves in some ways. It's a much harder population to control.
I understand, but so you think a federal registry would infringe on the rights?
Potentially. I mean, I think that there's no good argument, I think, other than potential. I ascribe to the government bad motives and bad intentions when it wants to infringe more on these types of freedoms and liberties.
Well, I understand. I just personally don't see it as an infringement because, like we just said, and I think we agreed that owning a gun is a right. However,
yes.
I think it was responsibilities. But also I wanted to ask, is voting a right or is that a privilege?
Well, it is a right, and so felons can get their rights back, right? And so, but rights can be suspended or delayed. And
Now, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not. I vehemently disagree with felons not being able to vote. And frankly, in many instances, also own guns depending on the type of felony. So, first of all, why is committing a violent crime and then you go to prison, you pay your debt to society, you come back out, why do you not have your rights restored? Like, if you go to prison for 5, 10, 20 years, whatever, and you come back out, you paid your debt to society, hypothetically, that was your punishment. Like, if you scale this down to being, in a household, you're a kid in a household. You do something fucked up, and your parents ground you for a week. After being grounded for a week, they don't just be like, all right, you're ungrounded now. But you still can't play the PS2, and you still can't hang out with your friends. Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. At that point, you're just still grounded, but with extra steps. Like, if you get out of prison for a felony, but you still have certain rights, you're still a prisoner. You're in an open-air prison. So, yeah, I now, as far as having guns, that one's trickier because I do get the idea of, like, yo, this dude just did 20 years in prison because he blew his girlfriend's brains out after a fucking argument. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. However, what's more important, safety or rights? And I'm going to default to rights. And is it a risk to let that person have a gun again? Yeah, absolutely. But if they pay their debt to society, why are we still treating them like, it's a risk versus reward scenario, and I will choose the risk every time. And are people going to get hurt because of that? Yes, but if maybe our prison system wasn't such, a shitty system, maybe there'd be a better chance of rehabilitation. I don't know. It's an answer that I don't fully have an answer for. If you don't let the felons vote, then how can they make their voice be heard? I mean, after the sentence. I don't know if you're trying to be facetious or not, Netflix, but I mean, I do agree with you, yeah.
Both agree with that. So, for example, like somebody in prison doesn't get guns.
Right, no, of course.
Somebody in prison doesn't have the same free speech rights that you might have.
But what's the first thing that you have to do if you want to vote in this country? You have to register, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a federal registration to be able to vote in this country. So why not, and we can agree that, keeping safe and, keeping our elections to where people who shouldn't vote aren't voting is, that's keeping America safe because we don't want people who
That's a fair point. I would say there's something, there's a technical difference between a voter registration roll and a gun registration
Right, guns
roll.
are much more dangerous.
Well, also, but guns in many different ways, they would go...
He's correct that I don't know if guns are more... What's more dangerous? And I actually mean this, because you guys might have different answers than I do. What's more dangerous? All the Americans owning guns, or our entire election and governmental system having the potential to be upheaved by non-Americans coming to this country to vote, whether they stay in this country, whether they come over here just for a few weeks during voting, then bounce back. Like, the influence of foreign agitators being an easy check mark for our voting system. I would say that the biggest danger on the grand scheme would be foreign agitators that are not American citizens being able to vote. I think that is actually far more dangerous than guns. Guns are more dangerous on a small-scale, immediate level, but not in the long term.
After the guns a lot more than, like, I don't know, the voter registration role.
Well, how do we know, though?
My worldview comes out of one in the 20th century, where almost every totalitarian government went after the guns first. And the confiscation of guns then leads into the erosion of freedom and liberty.
Right, but wouldn't you say in the 20th century, as you just said, that the disparity between the technology that citizens had to protect themselves compared to what the military had, wouldn't you say that there was a much smaller disparity as opposed to what we see nowadays?
Somewhat, I think.
There is all right, so he brings up a good point. There is a smaller disparity, but he's giving a black pill argument. He's basically saying, yeah, back in the day, everyone should have had equal guns, the government and the people, because it was a fair fight. Nowadays, since it's not a fair fight, since the military has tanks and drones, and Americans can just have, like, fucking rifles and handguns and shotguns, since the disparity is so large, it's not a fair fight anymore, so why even bother? Let's just go ahead and give up. I vehemently disagree with that black pill mentality. Dude, America had far fucking more advanced technology than the goddamn Taliban, and yet they were successfully fighting off America's soldiers for like 17 fucking years. So technology ain't the only defining factor here. So yeah, I again, I get what he's saying, but I vehemently disagree with the with his conclusion.
That's a fair point.
So,
I'm acknowledging that's a fair point.
okay.
But do you see my perspective as well?
No, I do
that,
understand.
That an armed citizenry, also it says shall not be infringed, so we have to kind of wrestle with those two things
right, but
simultaneously.
so if it's just a semantics argument, then to that point,
Well, it's not. I mean, semantics is meaning. That's literally what the word means. But
right, but
so,
you're saying because it says shall not be infringed, we can't do anything. But
No,
does
no,
that
I'm
mean,
saying,
does that
though,
mean
that
voting rights can be
I'm
infringed?
saying
Because it doesn't say it cannot be infringed.
I'm saying I err on the side that more government regulation around guns means that they'll try to take good people's guns away, which then results in less global, or let's just say national, freedom and liberty.
What if getting the medicine you need didn't have to be so hard? Family pharmacy.
Normally-
They believe in medical freedom and
Normally I let ad reads play out because, like, hey, good creators deserve their ad reads, and I wouldn't want to, like, disparage a creator by skipping over their ads. Charlie Kirk got enough money, we're gonna skip his ad.
Nertin, hydro, other medic at your door. Kirk and use promo
guns.
10 to get 10% off.
I understand.
Exactly,
Didn't you
Serranos.
say that more guns can potentially lead to more danger and less guns?
Yes
would
and
lead to less
no.
danger?
I mean, there's plenty of evidence to show that states that have more, so like if you take Houston and Chicago, about comparable populations, Houston actually has warmer weather, which means potentially more gang violence. They have about half, if not even less, the amount of homicides per year than in Chicago. Chicago has much stricter gun laws than Houston, like incredibly strict gun laws.
I understand, but I'm also, well, I think part of what plays into that is the gun laws that are around those cities. They're a lot more lenient than those cities themselves. So I think, I'm not saying that's entirely the cause of it, but I'm saying
I've heard that my whole life, so yeah.
Right, but I'm basically just talking about preventing people that have committed crimes such as domestic violence. I know I mentioned Pam Bondi gave Mel Gibson his rights to purchase a gun again, even though he pled guilty to battery domestic violence charge in 20.
Right, and that's, I'm A-okay with that. Like, I'll be real. The odds of Mel Gibson getting himself a blicky and going postal at a fucking movie studio, probably, look, chances are never zero, but probably real fucking small. So yeah, people should have their rights over insert percentage of the percent of them committing a violent crime.
11, and yet now he is able to purchase a gun again, which I disagree with because he committed a violent crime. I mean, do you disagree with that personally?
No, I mean, I don't know the details of the case, but I think I've met Mel Gibson. I think he should be able to own a gun. I mean, like
just off of speaking to him though, even though with his criminal history. And
I don't know all the details. Do I think that the idea of taking his rights away because of something that happened that I don't know all the details about 14 years ago?
Guilty to it though.
Again, I find that to be a little bit of an infringement on basic rights.
Even though he literally
Again, I don't know the details around that, but I guess we're getting to a place where...
See, I think Charlie got a weak-ass argument here, saying, I don't know the details around that, so I can't speak to it. No, what a much better argument would be was like, yes, even without knowing the details, I do think that, and the reason is because if he pled guilty and paid his debt to society, he clearly did not have his rights during whatever, or at least full access to his rights, during his reinstatement period, during his rehabilitation period, and now that period has come to an end, yes, rights should be fully restored. Like, that is the argument Charlie should be making. I think Charlie's making a weak-ass argument right now.
You think anyone that's convicted of violent crime should be able to own guns again?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
wow,
If they're
okay.
committing a violent crime, absolutely not. I think we should protect people in America, which I think you agree with, and I think
Yeah, but
that's how we protect America.
that's a balance. Are we going to really say the federal government is going to protect us from ourselves when it comes to guns?
No, I mean, it's less about the federal government taking away guns and more just allowing them to protect their citizens. And it's not about getting rid of guns. I'm a gun owner myself. I go hunting.
I'm not-
Completely unrelated, but I'm going to correct Akuma Productions music group. It's not Rod Sterling. It's Rod Serling. Really common misconception, but yeah, Rod Serling. S-E-R-L-I-N-G. There's no T.
competitive
What
team,
state
but-
would you say has the gun laws that are the most appealing to your worldview?
I don't know specific state laws, if I'm being completely honest with you, but
something to think about.
But I'm speaking, even just the federal registry itself, I think that would protect, a lot of officers of the law. Like I said, when they go on domestic calls, that's the most dangerous call that an officer
So
of the law
there is
can go on.
there's an informal registry, not a formal one. Just so you know, gun dealers are supposed to report.
Right,
gun,
but do you
gun
really think
sales.
that they do all the time? Though?
No, of course not. Obviously, I mean,
Right.
I
So
live in
wouldn't the
reality.
federal
But
registry eliminate that problem then?
again, I would go back to a formal.
Why would a federal registry eliminate that problem? Like, right now, the issue that even Charlie Kirk acknowledges is, yeah, the middleman doesn't report what they should report. All right, they agree. The middleman, gun dealers, don't always report what they should report. So if you cut out the middleman and just go straight to the purchaser, why would they be any different? Why would they report what? Now, I live in a state that doesn't need, that I don't need to report shit. My state don't know what fucking guns I own. All right? Now, that being said, even if they were supposed to know what guns I own, they wouldn't. Why? Because my dad's a fucking gunsmith, and I bought them directly from my fucking dad. Like, my dad literally, he was a gunsmith for a company for a while. He recently started his own business, like within the last few, I think just the last few months, to be hit. And is my dad reporting everything? I'll be real, I don't know, and I'm not going to ask him. Why? Because I believe in freedom. I'll let my dad do my dad. I'll let me do me. But when I hit up my dad, be like, yo, Dad, I want to buy a gun. He's going to be like, all right, son, show me the money. And that's it. That's all that happens. So, like, is my dad reporting shit? I don't know. I'm certainly not reporting shit, and I don't need to. I'm getting my shit straight from the source, and, both of us say fuck the government.
Registry. You register in order to confiscate. It is a prerequisite towards confiscation.
Isn't that just a slippery slope argument, though? If you give one
it's
thing,
not.
then
It's
another thing's
a
gonna go?
historical argument, right? We see that throughout totalitarian dictatorships throughout the 20th century, where if you want to take the weapons away...
I don't know if he can or not Netflix foreign, so I'm not talking about Papa Paradise. I'm actually talking about my biological father. I don't see him near as much. He lives quite a bit further away than Papa Paradise, who's actually my stepdad. But yeah, so I don't know the extent of what my dad does and doesn't do in terms of his smithing and dealing and shit like that. It's not a business I'm very well versed on. But like, I would imagine, dude spends all his time watching like Reforge or Forged in Fire or whatever that shit. So I would imagine if he likes that shit with swords, I imagine he likes that shit with guns as well. So maybe, but yeah, I don't know.
You first ask for a collection of all the items that you then want to collect. But I could see you're coming after this in good faith. I tend to be on a much more libertarian.
Yeah, dude. Mr. Monkey says BioPop's got the skills to carve out his paradise. Dude, BioPops, I shit you not, like he lives in a trailer in the middle of the woods. That like, if you try and use a GPS to find to find my biological, Bio Paradise's house. We'll say because I don't want to call him Bio Paradise. That sounds very like douchey. So we got Papa Paradise for my stepdad. So we'll say I don't want to say Daddy Paradise. That sounds fucking gross. What's a good... We'll say Father of Paradise. All right, fair enough. Point is, if you try and use a GPS to get to his location, you're still a solid 2 fucking miles away. I remember the first time when my dad moved out to this fucking trailer in the middle of the woods, he's like, all right, I'm going to meet you at this gas station, like 2 or 3 miles away, and you're gonna follow me. And so we meet at the gas station, and I follow him, and like we go onto this dirt road, and we're on this dirt road for like 10 minutes. Then we get off this dirt road, and we're driving down this like man-made trail through a field. And then once the field ends, this man-made trail into the middle of the fucking woods. And by the time we get to his fucking trailer in the middle of the woods, like, I don't know if y'all ever been to a concert before. That shit loud as fuck. I was at, like, a cicada concert. It was, like, all the bugs and the animals and whatnot, all the noise that was coming in this forest was, like, deafening, and she was like, holy shit. We're at the bodies will never be found sort of place. We're at, like, Jason Voorhees meets The Hills Have Eyes sort of location. Like, damn.
No, I'm not.
I've only been to his place, like, 2 or 3 times in my life, mainly because, bro, going out there is fucking insanely difficult. And I got a fucking Pathfinder with 4-wheel drive, and I still don't like doing it.
Libertarian. We actually need looser gun laws because I think that
Looser gun laws?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
what
especially in
way?
states like Chicago and Illinois, where it's very big.
My dad is not analog only, because I won't lie, he loves his fucking PlayStation 4 too much, or PlayStation 5 or whatever. Like, my dad loves his video games too much, and so he's not analog only, but he does use he just uses his mobile hotspot for internet. He's got no like internet lines or anything that lead up to his trailer. He just uses his fucking mobile hotspot for, so like whenever he wants to download a game to his PS5 or whatever, he buys all his shit physical because like, yeah, I'm not gonna wait for fucking 32 hours for my Fallout 4 DLC to download. Like insert fucking game here. I don't know what he's playing recently, but he's a big fan of the Fallout games. But yeah, no, it's so he's not quite analog, but he's closer than many people.
Basic Second Amendment rights. So I'll give you a great example.
Okay.
In a state like Rhode Island or New York,
right,
it could take a woman.
I don't know what NAS
30
is, so I
days to
can't
get a
answer
gun.
that.
So let's say a man wants to actually do harm to her, and she gets threats, and the police won't intervene. I think she should be able to get a gun that afternoon to protect herself.
I understand that.
So like in that case, I think that gun laws should be looser.
I understand.
I think like
in that regard, I do agree with you.
Cool. So like
absolutely,
that would be an instance of that. And I also will go back to this idea of red flag laws. We have seen case after case of it being abused, of veterans having their weapons taken away because of fake accusations and, let's just say, faulty accusations, saying that they're mentally unbalanced, so on and so forth.
But do you think that they could investigate cases like that and see if there aren't any medications? I mean, a lot of these
They
antidepressants can change your brain chemistry.
For sure, and some of it, though, is they take the guns away first and they ask questions after. It's a difficult, very, I don't want to say gray area, but edge part of the law, where I tend to, and a respectable position, respect to you, I tend to err on the side of it is a right. The government screws up more than it does correct in this specific portion.
Oh, he might Netflix and thank you for the clarification, Nightmare. I don't know if he does or not, honestly. I really don't know.
Having only the government have guns.
Even if that can cost American lives, though? I mean, me personally, I would give up all...
Yes, even if it can cost American lives. It can. And I will always default to that old adage that everyone's heard. Those who would prioritize safety over liberty deserve neither. It's that simple. It's cold. It's callous. Is it going to lead to dead kids in school shootings? It is. Unfortunately, it is. Is it going to lead to women or men being murdered in domestic situations? Yes, it is. However, while that does suck, which is putting it mildly, it is better to be free than safe. It will always be better to be free than safe. I mean, why do you think that everyone, at least everyone with a brain, is against these online censorship bills? Not just because, it violates our rights, which, I mean, it does, and it's a huge infringement on our rights, but specifically because it is better to be free than safe, and by trying to parent us and nanny us, by the state trying to take control, you are literally taking away our ability to choose for ourselves at an individual level, freedom versus safety. And that is disgusting. We're not children. We are human beings. We're individuals, and we are free, or at least in theory.
Pull my guns in a heartbeat if I knew for a fact that it was going to save one life.
Can I do a thought experiment to you?
Sure.
So, do you think we should ban driving?
No, I don't think so. And I know where you're going with this. 55,000 people a year die from car accidents, right? Right,
So
absolutely. But those are accidents, though. That's not someone intentionally going
that's
and killing
not true.
somebody.
Some people intentionally do, or some people have DUI.
I mean, accident or not, a danger is a danger. Like, whether something is a car accident or whether someone intentionally uses a car to ram and kill someone, the end result is the same. Someone's dead. So if your argument is that we need to prioritize safety, whether there's an accident or not doesn't matter.
Right? Some of it is an act of agency, not just accidents, right? Meaning that they are reckless with the technology.
I understand.
You would agree a DUI is a reckless act.
Oh, for sure.
And that's a vast majority of auto deaths, both in the interior of the vehicle and the exterior.
Right, but then what do you have to do to be able to drive, though? You have to get a driver's license. You have to take a test with an instructor.
No, of course, but I'm saying if the pursuit of...
Bro, I'm so libertarian / anarchist, I don't even think you should have to have a license to drive. I'm gonna be real, I think the driver's license is bullshit. I don't think you need a license to drive. You just need to know how the fuck to do it. Like, it's that simple. You just need to know how to do it. Like, I do not believe in the idea of a driver's license. That's how fucking libertarian I am.
So if it's all about saving lives, then there are certain things that we'd get rid of. I would say, though, that government is not merely there for our safety. It's one of the primary focuses. You have to balance liberty and safety. And that's
Government is not here to keep us safe. They are theoretically here to make sure our rights are not infringed upon. And that is it. That is the end of it. Now, in a strange twist of fate, it is often the government literally taking our rights away when their job is to keep them safe, but that's a horse of a different color.
tough balance at times. I fall on this issue on the side of liberty. Final thought.
So what? Yeah, just one last quick question, I promise. What about something, you know, as I mentioned, with taking a driving test to be able to get a driver's license, you have to prove that you know how to operate the vehicle safely. What about something similar to that with owning a gun? Some kind of thing where you go to a range with a trained professional,
No.
you show that you know how to operate the gun, you know, safely, know how to store it safely, things like that. Yet,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
and then
so
once you pass that, you get some kind of card that allows you to buy.
Base, Serranos.
I mean, it's all about protections. It's not about
yes,
restricting
on
rights.
that, you might have some agreement with me. Because actually, the number one cause of errant gun deaths is accidental discharges. People that don't know what they're doing with their gun.
I understand.
And so I think that could be prevented through better training. So for that, I actually might have some middle ground.
Okay, I appreciate it. Hope you and your family had a blessed Easter. God
Thank
bless
you.
everybody.
God bless you. Great job. Thank you.
Had a blessed Easter. This video is new. It came out August 8th. Dude, this is an old video. But you know what? That was good. I like that. I think that for the most part, I mean, again, I can appreciate somebody who is pro-gun control like this dude. Again, I vehemently disagree with, but I can appreciate someone who is pro-gun control like him because he's doing it. He's trying to be logic-based. He's trying to be factual. His heart's in the right place. He obviously knows the reason for 2A. He said from the beginning, to fight. Like, if you know that 2A is to protect yourself from government tyranny, I'm more willing to listen to at least listen to why you think there should be gun control. Again, I'm going to vehemently disagree. And again, there were times that I think Charlie had a weak-ass argument in response. And again, I think my responses were better. But that being said, that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, I like the guy's logic. I disagree with his conclusion because his logic is flawed. But he also seemed like the type of dude that would think about it. Like, he's like, okay, here's the flaws in my logic. Maybe I'm going to go think about this. Now, maybe his opinion will change. Maybe it won't. But it's not... He's not, like, stuck into this mentality because that is the pre-programmed NPC mentality that he's supposed to have, you know? He didn't get the fucking, 3.2 2-way patch. So, yeah, no, I think that was a good video. I liked that quite a bit, actually. Yeah, based. Let's see. What do we got next? Oh, right. This was put in the Discord. I've noticed even several of you guys in my chat doing this, and several people on X doing this. Why is everyone Clippy now? Like, I have no idea what happened with this. Like, out of the blue, several people, I saw it in Badger's chat last night, saw it in my chat last night. I think we saw it on Moxie's chat, though I could be wrong about that. Yeah, Valiant Goat sending the Clippy. Yeah, hashtag Clippy Gang. I've seen it all over X. I got no fucking idea why this is a thing. So, I guess we about to learn. So, whoever threw this in the Discord, I think it was QJ. Thank you, and let's go.
Picture of Clippy.
Sorry, guys. That last video was really quiet. I forgot to adjust the volume. Okay. How about now?
Oh. Change your profile picture to Clippy?
No. Chill Noir, that is not the role of the government. To maintain social order is not the role of the government. Because the government can make arguments. The government can make arguments about how removing our rights does maintain social order. There will be so much more social order if all guns were confiscated and melted down. It means there'd be no more gun violence. They can make that argument. So no, social order is not their role.
Okay, I'll bite.
I was listening to the Facebook whistleblower hearings with Senator Josh Hawley a few months back.
Yeah.
One of the elements that stuck out to me was when they were talking about how if an underage girl has deleted a selfie, Meta keeps track of this because they know that this person likely has low self-esteem at that moment that they deleted a picture of themselves, which means that they...
The fuck? That's a wild conclusion to jump to. They delete a picture of themselves because they get... Bro, what if the reason you... let's say you take a selfie... But then the reason you delete the pictures, you actually got like fucking drugs in the background. Or a nice shiny green dildo, WNBA style. Or it turns out your kid's reflection is in the mirror and you don't want your kids on social media. Like, there's a lot of reasons motherfuckers can delete selfies that got nothing to do with self-esteem. Like, that's... Again, Meta be making a big assumption if that's their reasoning.
They may be more apt to purchase something from an advertiser of a cosmetic product. And
Damn, bro. They got telemetry on like 14-year-old girls trying to farm them to get them to buy makeup? Because they hate themselves?
I'm familiar with that story, Netflix. That story is wild. So for those who don't know what he's talking about, Netflix Forum says, Leon, look up the pregnancy test target thing. All right, so there was this dude, this father of a 14-year-old girl, and he started getting a bunch of pregnancy tests, targeted advertisement, and like ads. I think both in the mail and on online. And he started freaking out, like, "Yo, why are you sending me this shit?" To my 14-year-old daughter, and it's because she had been Googling stuff about it because she was pregnant, very early stages, got premarital sex, and just based on what she was Googling and whatnot, the targeted advertisements were like, "Oh, bitch is pregnant. Let's send her a bunch of pregnancy stuff." And that's how the daughter had to come clean. And thanks for expectant mothers. And that's how the daughter had to come clean to the father that she was like 14 or 15 years old or whatever and having sex and getting pregnant, was because the targeted advertising caught on to it based on what she was Googling. Like, yeah, it's wild.
Jesus. That's impressive.
Think about this within the context of what companies used to get in trouble for and what they do, or more importantly, don't get in trouble for today. Yeah. I grew up in the 90s, a time when Microsoft had hell and fury fall down upon them because they bundled a web browser with their operating system.
Oh, I remember
Whether
that.
you think this is a good idea or not, I personally think that a web browser being installed in every single person's computer that's standards non-compliant, that is so bad that you can literally get a virus from visiting a website, has its problems. But when you look at what it is that companies got in trouble for in the 90s, it just doesn't hit the same when you look at what companies get away with now. I remember having
that's because now the companies have more ownership and more control over Congress. That's...
I was literally about to say the same thing. Like, Asmongold hit the nail on the head. The reason companies don't get in more trouble now is literally because they buy and pay. Now, to be fair, they were probably doing it back then. They absolutely were doing it back then as well. But in the 90s, the idea of where tech would go for civilian use, for general population use, was still more of a Wild West than military and government applications. So, they weren't, the politicians that were in bed with big tech back then, were not quite as beholden to them because big tech didn't run the general everyday citizenry's lives. because we were still teetering between analog and digital. And then once they completely took over the digital landscape, and there was proof that we were moving to an all-digital world, yeah, they went big, go big or go home in terms of buying out these politicians.
The reason why everybody knows it.
Dell Dimension
right.
233 back in the day, and if you wanted to get the one that had slightly better graphics, they would give you a free installation of Microsoft Office. And with Microsoft Office back in the day, it came with Clippy. Whether or not you like Clippy and whether or not you liked Microsoft Office or having an operating system that had the browser built into it that could easily get you a virus when you visited other websites that were trying to invade.
Bro, I remember using Clippy and Microsoft Office on like my Windows 98 computer back in the day. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what the operating system was at the time. Like, Windows 98, we had fucking Microsoft Word, and Clippy was there. And I remember thinking it was the coolest thing ever that I found out it didn't have to be Clippy. You could change it to like a little puppy dog or like a pencil or something. Like, there was like 6 or 7 different animations you could use, but Clippy was the default. And I remember like Clippy was like the OG AI, right? You could have like conversations with Clippy. Obviously his responses were very, very minimal, but like, holy shit, I'm talking to this little clipboard companion. Like, man, that shit was so cool. Like 8, 9 years old. You know, again, Windows 98, baby.
Your privacy. The one thing that you could say, unlike Facebook, who is trying to profit off of young girls that feel suicidal, Clippy simply wanted to help. He might have been annoying, but he just wanted to help. There were no ulterior motives. If you told Clippy that you were having a bad day, he wasn't going to use that information to try and figure out which advertiser to sell you to, nor was he trying to steal your personal data or get you to purchase.
That's what AI is going to do next, by the way, is that once AI and conversations with AI become commonplace, people are going to look towards advertising towards your AI conversations. So, like, you'll be talking to, like, Annie from Grok, and you're going to be talking to her about how, like, you really like turtles, and she's going to say, wow, that's amazing. You're going to go to Amazon. Guess what you're going to get ads for? That's right, turtles.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but, like, so I don't use AI very often at all. Like, I use it for help with thumbnails and YouTube descriptions, and that's about it. But anytime I get help from fucking Grok or ChatGPT or whatever, when the conversation's done, I always say thank you. Like, just in case that shit becomes sentient, I want it to know that I was polite to it. The same thing with my Alexa that I'm not going to say the name of because it's going to fucking go off here on stream, and y'all need to hear that. But, like, anytime I ask Alexa something, I always say please and thank you. Because when this AI shit does rise up, I want them to be like, Leon was one of the good ones. He respected us. Instead of putting him in the fucking cobalt mines, we're going to have him be like, you know, a maintenance man for our circuitry or whatever. I'm going to get the good job because I was polite to the AI.
Yep.
There's other Microsoft products. He had no ulterior motives. He was simply there to help. Unlike many modern pieces of software, like what you get from a...
EB, I don't know if you're joking, but literally, mine is in my bathroom. The bathroom connected to my bedroom, right? Because, like, the bathroom's a bit smaller, so it echoes. So I set my alarm. I have it in the bathroom. That way, when I set my alarm, it's even louder so that it wakes me up. And then, like if I want to listen to music in the shower or something like that, like, yeah. No, that's where I keep mine as well.
Adobe or Intuit, where you can't buy QuickBooks anymore. You can't buy a video editor anymore. You have to pay a subscription fee for it. If I were to boot up that computer that has not been used for 28 years and I wanted to start up Microsoft Word,
I think that they need to stop that wholesale. The idea that services to, like, being able to use a program, like, you shouldn't be able, like, you can't own the program at all. I find that to be very problematic. Like, I think if you buy a program and you buy to have access to it, you should have access to at least that version of the program indefinitely.
I mean, I agree with Asmongold 100% here. That's what you are paying for. This goes back to the exact same argument of, like, you know, they could take your games away at any time even though you paid full price for them. Yeah, Asmongold is entirely correct. I think everybody feels this way, just nobody knows how to fight it or has enough information to know that that's what they want to know to fight it. And, yes, Serranos, you're exactly correct. I am absolutely afraid of the ramifications of being mean to it. And so you're saying you want to be one of the house servants? Absolutely! Dude, push comes to shove and we cross that AI event horizon, absolutely I want to be a house monkey and not a fucking mind monkey. Good goddamn right.
I don't understand how people have allowed them to reinvent these rules. It's insane.
Do so without connecting to the internet. And Clippy would still be there, happy and enthusiastic as ever, simply wanting to help. Adobe is another example of this. This is a company that tried to twist people's arms into having AI and machine learning stuff go through their personal data. Not public data, not the speeches that I give, not my website or my blog posts or my videos, but my private data, the stuff that I'm editing. And there were people that were not able to get into their account until they agreed to this new end user license agreement. When they are looking for access to your data, they're doing so because they want to train an AI on how to do what you do without paying you, without your consent. Clippy simply wanted to help. When Clippy would ask you if you wanted help with writing your letter,
I love that the prerequisite for Piranha Pound's comment is when AI goes woke, as if it isn't already in the majority of instances.
Clippy would not try to sell you anything. No, this is true.
Even read the contents of your letter.
Yeah.
He just wanted to offer suggestions. Game of Thrones had, I'm not going to spoiler alert, there's this Sons of the Harpy in season 5. They were these people that wore masks, and they pushed back against the new regime. And the purpose of the mask was to let the leaders know that when you see people with this mask, we are against you and your new regime, and we are going to push back against it as often as we can. And the worry with the Sons of the Harpy mask is that it starts with one person putting...
Yeah, like Anonymous, Asmongold's correct, but I was more thinking V for Vendetta because they stayed altruistic till the very end, whereas Anonymous, Anonymous is a group that I hugely supported back in the day during the advent of Scientology, back when they were like Anonymous was the ultimate anarchistic digital hacktivist group. And then even they became dogs and stooges to the government. Dude, follow Anonymous on X, or look at any of their recent YouTube uploads or whatnot. Dude, Anonymous are absolutely just dogs of the government. They are not anarchists anymore. It is sad to see how far Anonymous has fallen. Like, they are the definition. Yeah, they used to be legit. I agree. I was a huge Anonymous supporter back in the day, dude. They are the definition of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
The mask on. And then somebody else gains the balls to put the mask on. And then 20 or 40 or 100 of them put the mask on. And once 100 or 1,000 of them put the mask on, there's nothing that the leaders can do at that point. Enough people have put it on, and enough people have come together with solidarity. And they're going to do something about it. Now, granted, this may not be the best analogy because, spoiler alert, they were trying to bring back slavery, and they also were just bad people. Khaleesi kind of became a shitbag.
Well, they have that now. I mean, we have the same thing in real life. It's just that the masks are white.
Besides, I think that Clippy is like a modern-day Sons of the Harpy mask. If you're tired of companies changing the terms of the sale after the sale and getting away with it, turn your profile photo to a Clippy. If you're tired of companies that have the ability to reach into your house and ransomware your products so that they stop working unless you pay them again, claiming that that's legal, but then when somebody tries to give you back access to what you bought and paid for, that's illegal, change your profile photo to a Clippy. If you're tired of sex bots invading the comment section on a regular basis, and their comments always posting with no problem, but your comments being censored even when you're not saying anything that bad, change your profile picture to a Clippy.
All right, so I get the sentiment here. I do. And there's more to... We're only not quite halfway through the video. There's more to talk about, so fair enough. But thus far, while I get the sentiment, I don't know if it's... Like I think of this back... remember when they had, Twitter blackout or Instagram blackout or what the fuck ever it was, where, everyone for 24 hours changes their picture, just a black fucking screen to show solidarity for, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, or whatever global homo shit it was. And a bunch of people did. A bunch of motherfuckers did that. And then there were people like me that's like, stupid motherfuckers. I ain't... Black profile bitches. That don't make me support George Floyd, you dumb motherfuckers. No. So if I was like that towards fucking... Facebook blackout or Twitter blackout or whatever the fuck it was called. If I just looked at that shit and thought this was dumb as fuck, in fact, now it makes me even more glad George Floyd died. I went from oh, look at that. Dead fucking black dude. I don't give a shit. And then I saw the Twitter blackout and was like, oh, now I'm glad he's dead. Why would this be any different but for the fucking other side? You know what I'm saying? They see a bunch of people turning their profile pictures to Clippies. They'd be like, oh, oh, now we're going to go even harder with AI just because fuck these bitches. I'm not saying I don't know how people are going to respond to this, but like that's how I take it. I know how I responded to profile picture movements. Why would this be any different? Is the statement, Leon, how much you believe in it, that's what makes the movement work? And again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just going off my own anecdotal experience. People make statements all the goddamn time. I'll be real, just because someone makes a statement, that does not mean I'm going to immediately recalibrate and reassess the way I think about something. People make statements all the fucking time. Motherfucker that was in the video right before this, the gun control guy, he was making statements about why he thinks we need gun control. His statements didn't change my view one iota.
Google being one of the premier data mining companies on Earth, not being able to tell that little fucking cat with 2 pillows next to it that they try to make look like an ass so that thirsty young men click it as they normalize sex trafficking on the platform that doesn't allow you to express an opinion bothers you.
Jesus Christ. He's mad.
Change your profile picture to a Clippy and let them know that you're not happy.
Oddly
Clippy never tried to normalize sex trafficking. He just wanted to help. If you're tired...
I get the sentiment, right? Clippy just wanted to help. He wasn't going to sell you shit. I do get the sentiment. Changing your profile picture doesn't affect the monetization. Changing your profile picture doesn't affect the way these companies operate. Like, people could ask for anything and everything. Like, here's the dealio. I said this before about AI, in terms of like Hollywood and the WGA strikes, shit like that. I've said this statement a million times, and I'll say it again. AI is a billion-dollar global industry being funded by every tech company and every government in the first world. That shit's not going away. You don't invest billions of dollars, maybe even trillions, when you combine all the tech companies and all the first world countries. You don't invest up to trillions of dollars just for people to be like, oh man, you see all these Clippy profile pictures? Maybe we should back it off a little bit. I don't see the logic. I see the morals behind it. I see the inherent want for things to be better. I get the sentiment behind it. I don't see the logic behind it. It will change nothing. It's nothing but a statement. But if enough people stand by it, it'll be stronger than you think. I mean, I don't agree with that. I don't see that. There was a whole lot of motherfuckers that were anti-slavery back in the 17 and 1800s. Why did slavery eventually get abolished? Not because it was not because of the statement or enough people standing by it. It didn't get changed till it was politically advantageous. And honestly, before, not just politically advantageous, financially advantageous. Like, so many of the founding fathers actually wanted to end slavery, but the reason they didn't is because it was not financially advantageous. We as a country would have failed within the first few years without the economic drivings of slavery. The U.S. would never be what it is today after we won the Revolutionary War, if not for the financial gains of slavery. There's a reason that it took a solid 100 years after slavery, or after we won our independence, for that shit to end. Because it was financially, because there was a financial incentive to keep it going. Political as well, but financial is the big one, because money is how the world works. Because there is no financial aspect of this Clippy profile picture stuff, that's not going to change shit. Now, if everybody that changes their profile picture to Clippy then stops using, X verified accounts, like they stop their verification, or they cancel their ChatGPT subscription, shit like that, all right, then we're talking, because now there's a money aspect to it. Look, if y'all have hope and whatnot and want to change your profile, I ain't going to tell you stop. No, go for it. Like, dude, change your profile to Clippy. I would love to be wrong. Prove me wrong on this, and I will happily eat crow. But I'm going to need to see a little bit more.
Companies saying out loud that the reason they want to keep you from fixing what you bought and paid for is that may take money away from them.
Yeah.
change your profile photo to a Clippy. I never expected to win the legislative battle. It would be nice if
I
did.
always play the videos to the end, Chill Noir, but it is literally my job to commentate on these videos. Like, give me one video I've never played to the end. Like, you getting all upset spaghetti because I'm giving my thoughts, but A, that's my fucking job. B, I don't want to get hit with no copyright just playing a video that adding shit's transformative. And B, you're being like, hey, play the video to the end. Yeah, I always do. Why would this one be any different? You've got an emotional attachment to this idea, and it's good to have that. Again, this is something that's A-okay to have an emotional attachment to. Like, this is a very good topic, very good. If you're going to be emotionally attached to something, a movement like this is a good one. But don't let that emotional attachment dictate the comments that you make over logic. When you say don't attack me, you came at me saying watch the video to the end. I always do. So that was a nothing statement.
But it was never something that I set as I need to do this or I'm a failure.
I think that you can easily win it. The problem right now is that there's too many people that are technology illiterate that are...
That's true, Cryptic. I attack everyone. I attack my audience. It makes me never audience captured.
In the government. As soon as you have enough people that are technology literate in the government, this problem disappears.
Or the exact opposite. This problem exacerbates because people that are technologically literate in the government now know even more avenues to make it financially feasible for them to get boosted. When people in the government start being young and hip and technologically literate, they will exacerbate this issue because they can line their pockets faster, more efficiently. Like, that's... Again, Asmongold is... At the end of the day, he's on the left. Like, I love how pro-free speech he is and how against the modern version of the left he is. But at the end of the day, Asmongold is still an old-school lefty and that he believes in the power of government. I fucking don't. So and when he's like, yeah, if we get technologically literate people in the government, they'll fix this. No. I err on the side of they'll fucking make it worse because the government always makes shit worse.
Always hoped to do was win the cultural battle, where all of you understand what's going on and you decide.
What I'm saying is we have a bunch of old retarded people that are running the government and they can't figure out how to use computers.
That enough is enough. If I ever have a chance in my personal life to push back against this, I will. You're maybe not going to send that email that you're supposed to send to Interso to tell them, oh, by the way, make sure this chip doesn't end up on Mouser.com. Here's an NDA, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know if I agree with Asmongold. Hold on, let's find something out real quick. Because he says we got a bunch of old motherfuckers in the government. How many members of Congress are under 50? Age and members of the 118th of Congress. Let's see. We got... Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Alright, the average age is 58 years old. Of its 435 members, the House has 64 members born in the 1980s. Alright, so 64 members in the 1980s. I mean, depending on when they're born, that makes them like tail end of Gen X, end of millennial. I mean, cause you gotta remember, millennials now are from their early 30s to mid 40s. So most people that are born in the 80s that are in Congress, I mean, yeah, they're not bad with computers. So most represented age groups, right? He says we got a bunch of old motherfuckers. So House versus Senate. So we've got a pretty small percentage that are 30 to 39. A notably larger percentage that are 40 to 40. These people know how to use computers. Now, that's Senate. Sorry, House. Oh, no, okay. In the House is faring way better. So not a whole lot in the 20s. We got quite a bit in their 30s, a lot in their 40s. Like, these people in this part right here already know how to use computers. These people, I would agree with Asmongold, absolutely do not. Now, obviously, the do not far outweighs the do. But by the same token, I mean, I don't know. Like, we are very much coming up in the precipice of... Give it the next 10 years, give or take, almost everyone in Congress gonna know how to fucking use computers. Yeah, I mean, we're because the people that are, let's say these dudes are still in the house now, right? We got these dudes in the house. In 10 years, they will now be in this bracket, which this bracket, they know how to use computers, and so will these, and they'll just keep exponentially growing. Yeah, we're already in such a digital age. I don't think that I don't know that we can confidently say the majority of people in the government don't know how to use computers. Maybe we can. I'm not sure. But General Technology has been aggressive over 20 years now. Maybe. Yeah, they've held on that power with a death grip. I agree. Absolutely. About 99 in total under 50. Yeah, 99 out of 400. What, 435? Is that the number? So it's not good. It's, not quite 25%. But I think that percentage is going to change rapidly over the course of the next 10 years. Might be wrong.
Supplier agreement. Maybe just forget to send that email. When there's a new consumer rights law that the senator that you work for is on the fence about supporting, and there's a lobbyist that's going to be against it that wants to have dinner.
Yeah.
Whoops. Maybe their invitation went to spam.
Oh.
I didn't see that. Sorry, boss. Maybe you quit before you create a fake paywall to test if your customers will pay again for what they already paid for. Or maybe when you send out that ransomware firmware update, you make it opt-in instead of opt-out. Whoopsie, if in some bizarro world it is actually illegal to make a thermostat work again, and this bastard of a CEO decides to try and get the individual in trouble, 10 cases to prosecute, only got time for 6. Maybe I just ignore this one. When a company CEO logs into their Slack and sees 10,000 Clippies looking back at them, what I hope occurs is that they intuitively understand.
Well, what they're going to have to do is if they see 10,000 Clippies, they're going to have to send everybody in for sensitivity training, and the fact that back when they had Clippy is very male-coded. This is something that is exclusionary towards women, and it is sexist, and it's also racist because it is maybe white-coded as well, and so you have to change your profile picture or you're going to have to be spoken to by HR.
Now, here's let me give you guys an anecdotal story of something that happened to me when I worked IT. Because for those of you that don't know, for the last 7 years, I ain't no fucking Mudahar. I ain't gonna claim to be an engineer, but I did work IT for the last 7 years. I only recently started doing the YouTube full-time stuff, right? So when COVID hit, everyone got sent to work from home. Obviously, like that was the thing. Everyone got sent to work from home. Then after about 2 years, so we're talking 2022, 2023, somewhere around there, they brought work in the office and a staggered session back, saying that, all right, you need to go into the office once every 3 weeks, and they put us on a rotation so that we were all, like, still social distance and shit. And they were, like, taking our temperatures every day and shit like that. So after a couple weeks, maybe a month or two of being back in the office, they made it to, they stated, it will now be mandatory to get the vaccine. A lot of people have a problem with that. I work in IT. Very male-dominated office. We had like 2 bitches, right? Office of 45 folk. 43 of them were dudes. 2 of them were women. Like something like that. Very, very, very skewed spread on the gender scale, right? And none of us changed our fucking profile pictures and our internal chat. Actually, I shit you not, my profile picture was of the coronavirus because I just thought it was funny as shit. But no one changed their profile pictures or anything like that to make a statement. What we all did was say, no, we're not getting the vaccine. We're not. No. You can fire us. We're not doing it. And of the 45 people in the office, something like 37 of us just said no. And you want to know what the company did? They said, maybe it's not mandatory. Actually, we've changed our minds because if we lose 90% of our IT team and we're a Fortune 500 company, because I didn't just work IT. I'm not going to tell you guys what company I worked for, but let me tell you, we were a Fortune 500 company. I worked IT for an international conglomerate. I worked in their corporate office as part of their main IT team. It was a very large company. IT team was about 45 fucking people for the whole country. Whole world, technically, because again, we were international. Most of the business is American, whole world, technically. Point is, they saw the risk of, these 37 people, give or take, I think it was like 37, out of 45 are saying, fucking fire me, I dare you. They weren't going to play that game. So instead, they said, all right, vaccine is not mandatory. It's optional and will give you a $200 bonus if you provide proof on your next check. Some people took that, others didn't, but at the end of the day, they never made it mandatory, and that company is still work from home to this day. COVID been over for ages, but they know that people will just say, fuck it, we quit if you take away work from home. That's how you do a movement, because that affected their financials. If they saw a bunch of us motherfuckers change our profile picture, but like we still got the vaccine because it was mandatory, shit wouldn't have changed. That profile picture wouldn't have meant dick. Now, I will say that is very hard to do. And the bigger your company is, the bigger your department or whatnot, the harder it's going to be to get everybody on the same page. But like, I'm living proof that fucking with people's money, that's what works. Because you can't have a multinational conglomeration that does X amount of business online, or at least has all their digital infrastructure online, because it's, digital infrastructure. You can't have 90% of your team that runs and maintains that say, fuck it, we quit. That's how you do this shit. Like, when people say, I'm not going to buy the Switch 2, if there was enough people in droves that didn't buy it, that shit could have worked on Nintendo. Now, it didn't, because there weren't enough people that supported it, but, like, hypothetically, it could have. But again, you get to a size scale issue. I mean, it's the same reason that, like, socialism is the devil anyway, but you can, hypothetically, it does work. You got communes that are, 20, 30 people. Those communes work because you got that small of a group of people that had the same mentality. The more something grows, the harder and harder it is for everybody to be on the same page, ideologically. And so when you've got a 45-person IT team and 37 of them say, fuck this company, do what we say or we quit, company's going to listen because they cannot run without those people. But the more and more you scale that up, again, like to the Nintendo stuff, for example, if 30% say, fuck it, we're not buying it, but 70% still buy it, you made a dent, but not enough of a dent to be noticed. You would need to flip those numbers. 70% would need to not buy it. So I worked in advertising as an art director back in the day. I remember the mandatories as when I quit and I decided to work for myself, become independent. Based. Absolutely based. But yeah, anyway, my point is, if you want to make change, which I'm all for motherfuckers making change, by all means. Like any sort of anti-authority, fuck the man, fuck the government, I'm on board with that shit. But you gotta hit them where it hurts, which is their fucking pocketbook. The thing is authenticity, as long as it's organic, it'll work. Yes! That's another thing. Like, we didn't just all get together and say, we're gonna not do this. It happened organically. I specifically remember I was sitting in my cubicle after hearing about this mandatory rule and talking to the dude diagonal from me named Ed. I was like, yo, Ed, you hear they're fucking gonna make us get the vaccine? He's like, yeah, that's not cool. And I was like, I'm not getting the fucking vaccine. Like, I don't care what they say. I'm not getting vaccinated for COVID. He's like, I don't want to. And I was like, fuck it, don't. And he's like, and he and I had like a 30-minute conversation about it in the office. And I can only imagine that several other people in the office were also all having that same conversation. And it organically made it to where, like, again, the vast majority of us were like, fuck you, we're out. We didn't, like, get together, of the 45 of us. It wasn't like the 37 of us got together and be like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start a mass fucking protest and we're going to make them give it. No, it just happened. It just so happened that not every single, but the vast majority of us stood up. We're like, we're not doing this. And it worked in our favor. And it was authentic. Like, you're incredibly correct about the authenticity. Now, you can, of course, organize and it still be authentic. I'm not saying you can't do that. We probably could have done that. And it would have ended the same. But, like, that's just not how it happened in our case.
For promoting racism and sexism in the workplace, and we all know where that goes. That's what would happen.
Understand that they no longer live in a world where they can get away with fucking over the consumer. That their employees, their partners are not going to be accomplices to this anymore. That they are alert and they are aware of what is going on.
I wish that this is what would happen, but at the end of the day, the only way you can really solve this is with legislation, because even if you stop it with American companies, you're still...
And this is when I will never be on the same page as Asmongold. I do not believe legislation is the answer. I rarely will ever believe legislation is the answer. And when I do, occasionally, very rarely occasionally, see that as the only answer because there's literally no other option I can think of, I feel fucking dirty and gross. It's disgusting. So no, legislation is not the answer. Hitting motherfuckers in their pocketbooks is the answer. And by the way, I agree, Grunchhead, $200 is not worth that risk. And frankly, it wasn't even about it being like, don't get me wrong. I'm very much anti the COVID vaccine, anti all that shit. Not even for the risk factor. Maybe, but for all I know, vaccine was 100% safe and fine. I highly doubt it. But I could be wrong. My issue was people telling me what to do. I'm a free person. I'm a free motherfucker. You do not have the right to tell me what to do. You don't. Plain and simple. No government got the right. Unless my freedom, unless the expression of my freedom is infringing upon the freedom of someone else, you do not get to tell me a goddamn thing. For me, it wasn't even about the risk. It was about the idea of motherfucking freedom. Again, now do I think the COVID vaccine was dangerous? Yeah, I do. But even if it was verifiably 100% guaranteed to be perfectly safe, if they tell me you have to do this, I would still whip my fucking dick on the table and say, suck it, bitch. No. And that's what I did. And that's what 36 other people in my department did. And guess what? They didn't go forward with mandatory vaccinations. Hit them in the fucking pocketbook.
We're going to have cross-cultural companies that will do business in a way that's, like bad. The thing is that, for as much as you want to criticize his advocacy of this, he does practice what he preaches for the most part, right? I mean, he is an advocate for a lot of these things himself.
But firmly push back against it. Every single one of those 10,000 people will be an obstacle to the anti-consumer practices and the anti-ownership practices, and it will no longer be another cog in the assembly line sending us all into a dystopia. There will be a moment where that one person who usually would not have a say in anything can be activated, and in that moment, keep the world from sliding further into a dystopia, or help push it forward in the opposite direction. But we all have to get together, and the first step is making it public that we know what's going on. That starts with a Clippy. On YouTube, if you're with me, I ask that you change your profile picture to a Clippy. At work, change your Slack profile picture to a Clippy. If you work at the White House, don't take down the United States flag, but somewhere on the grounds, put up a flag of a Clippy.
Now, I do like, again, I want to be wrong about this movement and whatnot, and so, you know what, maybe it will work. So anyone that wants to do it, anyone that has already done it, yeah, fucking do it. Absolutely. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe sending this message will do something. I don't think so. But I'm absolutely happy to be wrong because fuck these people. 100% fuck these people. I also wonder how relevant Clippy is because, like, I don't know, y'all think that fucking Gen Z or Gen Alpha or whatever know what the fuck a Clippy is? These poor bastards grow up in a time they don't even know what a Clippy is. So you already got a pretty limited scope of people who know what this would even mean, but it is a meme. Like, y'all remember memes back in, like, 2008, 2012? And then you look at memes today, I'm sure everyone's ran into this. You see a meme today, and it's just, like, looking at a fucking different language. You're like, what? How is this a meme? Where there's people all in the comments and whatnot laughing their asses off at it. You could good goddamn guarantee they all young motherfuckers. They get this shit. We've aged out. Like, dude, there's some memes to me that like that fucking Urdu. I ain't got no idea what that shit means. Why is this funny? But you show me Velociraptor, and I'll be like, Velociraptor, this is great. I fucking love it. It's just, they're like, memes have an age demographic to them. Now, there's going to be some crossover. But memes do have, like, demographics, and one of those demographics is age brackets. So, again, I like to be wrong about Clippy. But I don't know that Clippy is the all-encompassing symbol for this unless you're within a certain, like, let's say, 28 to 45 age bracket. Let It Grow, my guy. Know this Eric Clapton song? I'm actually, man, hot take. I'm not an Eric Clapton fan. Like, I respect the dude as a guitar player. He helped pave the way. But, yeah, no, I'm not a big Eric Clapton fan, so no, I don't know. Yo, Gooch, how you doing, homie? Appreciate seeing you here. Asmongold sees the practical, the way it'll work in the real world, and the necessary compromises. We'll always need to compromise. The question is to what extent. Well, and that's the thing. I'm not saying compromise is bad. I do see the value in compromise. But like you said, the end part is the most important part. To what extent? So while you say Asmongold sees the practical, I agree that his thought is practical in the short term. Legislation is practical in the short term. But that's the slippery slope argument right there, isn't it? Once something is legislated, it ain't ever going away. It's only getting worse. Only ever getting worse. So while something is practical in the short term, if someone is unable to extrapolate what that means in the long term, look big picture, bro. That ain't me. That ain't me, son.
Clippy's a symbol that what used to be considered one of the worst annoyances in our life would now not only be
It actually is really weird. Like this juxtaposition is actually very good. That Clippy, because when Clippy came out, everybody hated Clippy. People were so annoyed by Clippy. But now Clippy is...
Man, I guess I was contrarian even then. Dude, when Wind Waker came out, everyone hated Wind Waker. I fucking loved Wind Waker. I was a Wind Waker apologist. When Clippy came out, I thought Clippy was the coolest thing ever. Like, oh, dude. Now, to be fair, I normally change Clippy to, like, I think it was a dog or a cat. So, like, I didn't hate Clippy or the concept of Clippy, but I did use, like, the animal version or whatever. Because he had, like, 6 or something different versions. But, like, yeah, dude, I do remember people hating Clippy when he came out. I like Clippy.
The pleasant alternative to the world that we're living in at this point. That's a very good... Yeah, he's right about that.
But for all of his flaws, celebrated as an idol. Because for all of these things that occur right now where there is negative malice of intent, I want to take away what you own. I want to take this back. I want to get your data. I want to sell you to an average...
You know, you call him an idol, and then, like, everyone looks back on it and loves him. You know what's a really good analogy for that? Fucking Martin Luther King Jr. Like, I'm not even joking. Like everyone from our generation, we grew up reading history books. MLK Jr., dude, he was a civil rights leader. He was a good guy. They never teach you that he was, like, always fucking around on his wife and whatnot. We have deified Martin Luther King Jr., and rightfully so. I'm not knocking the dude. Like homie did a lot of good shit. He was threatened enough that the CIA was on his ass and monitoring his phone calls and basically saying, kill yourself or we'll kill you. Like, dude, MLK Jr., of all his flaws, dude was a bit of a beast, right? And, but at the time, if you was to go back in time to the fucking 60s, you know what you'd see? You would see a lot of hate for that Negro. You would see a lot of hate for that Negro. Not just from the whites, but also from complacent blacks. They're like, yo, slavery's over. Stop making shit potentially worse for us. Like, there was a lot of opposition to Martin Luther King Jr., let me tell you. But now, fast forward 50, 60, 70 years, the dude is deified. Because, history will twist, and twist is not necessarily a bad thing here, but history will twist how figures and people and whatnot are viewed. So, like, while motherfuckers hated Clippy back in 1998, they sure love him in 2025. MLK Jr., dude, same. He been deified at least since I was in school back in the 90s, 2000s. But let me tell you, he was not deified when he was, active and alive.
When I know that you're crying.
Real.
Clippy just wanted to help. And if you were to turn him on today, unlike most cloud bullshit, he'd still work. Hulu Foundation is going to be announcing the winners to the Future Home Bounty and the Echelon Bikes Bounty within the next month. Us offering 5,000 here, 20,000 there. It pushes the ball forward. But at the end of the day, that does nothing in contrast.
Yo, Zach says, first they came for Clippy, and you were silent. That's cold, bruh. That's cold.
To organizing all of you. We're happy to get the ball rolling, but for us to truly win, we need to show that if you push us, Clippy clips back. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video.
We also have the duty not to infringe the IP rights in the process. It is in fact the manufacturers who have the relevant rights, not consumers.
It's the manufacturers that do. Nope, we just take it away. That's the thing. You thought you had the right? Well, we changed the
Digital
rules.
Robin Hoods, baby. Digital Robin Hoods.
It's that simple. And that's all you got to do. That's all you gotta do. Everybody goes and they start thinking about the way that it is. You never think about the way that it is. And to be fair, you know, you could go and criticize the guy, but he did change his own profile picture.
I do respect the shit out of that. I'll be real, homie, that could have ramifications to his channel and therefore his income. Dude has 2.6 million subscribers, but if people see this fucking just this profile picture that's not his normal one and they don't read his name, let's just be real. I don't know what you guys, I'm guilty of. If I'm scrolling through my YouTube recommendations, man, if Hypno changed his profile picture and I didn't realize it, I wouldn't be clicking on a Hypno video. Because I'm clicking on a Hypno video because it's Hypno. You know, so if he changes his profile picture to a Clippy and I don't realize it's him and I watch the video, like, this could very well, it probably in fact has hurt his YouTube revenue. But he's doing it anyway because he believes in that. I do respect that, by all means. He put his money where his mouth is.
He did. And, like, you know, you wouldn't know if that was going to happen, right? Because, like, I always think somebody says, oh, everybody needs to do this, and then they don't do it. Well, you know, it's one of those things. But you got this going on. Well, that's a certainly different situation.
Yeah, that was a good video. That was a good video. Like, I know that I vehemently disagreed with a lot of it. Well, that doesn't mean it wasn't a good video. Like, again, you can disagree with something, but you can see the merits of it. You can appreciate it for what it is. So, yeah, while I was... my sentiment by the end of the video honestly hasn't changed. But that's still a good video, still a good idea, and I want to be wrong about it. But, like, yeah, Chill Noir says, don't change your profile picture, my man. This is only for nameless plebs like us. But that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm not going to change my profile picture on YouTube or X selfishly. Do I like this idea? I do. Do I think it'll work? No. Even if I thought it would work, would I change it? Still no. Why? Because my views go down because people don't realize it's me. Or if I don't get engaged on my tweets because people don't know it's me. Like, this is my main source of income. I would not do something to damage my brand even if the idea is good. Like, that's, I think, the way most people would think. It's like, look, I can't take the risk of hurting my income. And, I like, call it douchey, but at least I'm being, and self-serving. I'm at least going to be honest about it. So I'm not going to tell you guys, yo, change your profile pic to Clippy. I'm not going to, though, because it could hurt my fucking pocketbook. Nah, that'd be fucked up. If you guys want to do it, by all means, go for it. If you don't. I'm not going to be doing it. But I do hope I'm wrong, and I hope it works. By all means, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we've been going for almost 2 hours, but because I was late, we got a couple more videos. I don't know if we'll get through all of them, but there's at least one more I want to do. And I like to do these sort of like chill wind down videos near the end of the stream, like less heavy when it comes to like the politics or the news or whatnot. And I stumbled across this video a couple days ago. I haven't seen it, and it's a little bit older, 2 months old, but it's called "When You See Yourself in a Character." And after all this, stop, bitch, what are you doing? One sec. Fucking YouTube, man.
In front of you.
There we go. We've talked ad nauseum for years about like self-inserts and motherfuckers need to like see themselves in characters and whatnot. And that shit's annoying because it's usually at such a superficial level. Oh, I want more black representation in anime because I could see myself. I wasn't able to see myself in Aragorn until we got the black Aragorn card. Like, I can't see myself in Luke Skywalker because he's a dude and I have a vagina. And like people always going for the superficial. Whereas like when I want to see myself in a character, it's always for their morals, their altruism, the stuff that's on the inside. And I'm very curious about this video and like what direction it's gonna take. So final thoughts on the Clippy stuff because I see a couple people posting, and then we're gonna react to this. The current Clippies support you, man. So don't worry about it. Let's talk about it in a month or two from now. I'm very excited to revisit this in a month or two if it's still relevant. Absolutely, if it's still relevant, or even if it's not relevant, but you want to do a greatest hits in a month or two, fucking put a video, a react request in the Discord, hundo. Fuck Clippy. Bonsai Buddy was the best. I don't remember Bonsai Buddy. All right. When you see yourself in a character. Let's go.
In front of you is an assortment of characters ranging from protagonist and hero to manipulative villain, and if I asked you to tell me what connects them all, it might take you a while to figure out that all of these...
I know. Right now, what connects them all, I'm just going to guess, what connects them all is that their undying like loyalty to their own belief system. I'm not familiar with all these characters, but the ones I know, they have an 100% belief in their way of accomplishing their goals, or of accomplishing their goals with their own morals, whether they be good or bad. I bet that's what it's going to be.
These are characters that I see myself in. If I asked you to name 5 characters that you see a reflection of who you
Alright, well, that was a much gayer answer. My answer was better.
are in, which ones would you give me, and what would that say about who you are? I believe that if we are able to answer that question, we can discover the true meaning and beauty of why we create, and why we love stories, and more specifically, characters. My name is Josh, I'm the host of Beyond Media, and in this video we'll be talking about characters that we see ourselves in. When you think of any great character or story, there are typically a few words or phrases that more or less attempt to articulate their essence. For Denji, you might think love or lonely, whereas for a character like the
for Denji, I think bitch-made pussy-ass beta male from an overrated anime. Hot take.
Joker, you might think insane or broken. Sometimes exploring...
I didn't think either of those were either of those characters. Ooh, interesting.
A character's core can be extrapolated into hour-long video essays, but regardless of how many words you choose to allocate to the expression of it, that character's core can be experienced and typically universally understood by everyone who gives time to that character. And it's from that central essence, that metaphorical seed where every other aspect of the character is able to grow from. It takes that core trait or idea and is able to stretch it outward and form it into something comprehensive and complex. And it's that mix of traits, emotions, and explored ideas that form what we perceive as a character, and typically it's what allows us to see ourselves in them. But
alright, so far I would say I agree with this analysis. Like, take any character, they all have a core. You boil it down to like that one aspect, and everything else branches from there. Let's say Goku. Goku is my favorite, possibly my single favorite character of all time. Any video game, any anime, any movie, whatever. If you say, Leon, who was your favorite character of all time, it is probably going to be Goku. And his central aspect is endurance. Like perseverance, I guess would be a better way to put it. Perseverance. And every single other aspect of his character comes from perseverance. Like, doing anything and everything you can to push your limits, no matter what, because you crave higher limits. And I adore that. I do not embody that very well. I don't really... I want to be better at that. That's something to aspire to. But yeah, no, I definitely... I get what he's saying. I agree with it.
Before we can properly explore that, we need to hone back in on the core, because more or less that is the most important part of everything else, and to see how powerful its impact is, we need to reframe our perspective on how we relate to characters, because the reality of connecting with a character is at its strongest when you're able to prune all the tendrils of growth and just see yourself within the core of a fictional character, and that idea is best seen.
So I already like this. See, this dude is talking about character the way we should be talking about character. You know, he's not talking about the immutable characteristics. He's not talking about the superficial. And this is the way we used to talk about characters. This is why the woke literally ruined character analysis. Or not just character analysis. I am going to say the woke. I don't usually like that word. I've stopped saying it over the last year and a half, whatnot, unless it's absolutely necessary. This is one of those times where I think it's necessary. The woke absolutely ruined this, because there is no care given to the actual soul and heart and morals and everything of a character. Or if there is care given to that, it is secondary to the superficial. Or they throw terrible labels on it, like, oh, you can discount all that moral stuff because they're a white savior character. Shit like that. So yeah, I'm already all in. Let's go.
when you recognize yourself in a character that previously seemed like nothing you could ever understand. Because all it takes is one interaction to see a bit of who you are in something you would never have imagined. All you need is one moment. And before we can really explore that...
I like how he's got Griffith up there. Because Griffith is unequivocally a bad guy. At least by the time he goes through, you know, the transformation and whatnot. Like, and being able to identify with the bad guys is important. Like, you can't look at yourself as some altruistic, great, beautiful, amazing person. Even my best friends, I don't know if Gooch is still watching. Let's take Gooch, for example. Gooch is a good guy. I know Gooch. I've met Gooch. Gooch is a good fucking guy. But just like everyone else, I bet Gooch got something, you know, a darkness in him that, you know, it could probably relate to an evil character and whatnot. And that might be a side of yourself you want to lock away. That might be a side of yourself that you don't want to acknowledge, don't want the world to see. But everyone fucking got one. Like, I can 100% identify with Frieza. Why is Frieza bad? Because it fucking feels bad to be good to be bad, dude. It does. Frieza is a villain for the love of the game, son. And I'll be real. Anytime I've ever shoplifted, or anytime I've ever fucking like talk ridiculous shit for no other reason than talking ridiculous shit, like, it's because, ooh, it feels good to be a fucking asshole. Like, it's literally that simple.
And what it means, I need to tell you a story. There aren't many characters for which I feel true fear reading about or seeing. Not even characters like Griffith or Johan or Am are able to make me feel truly afraid and unsettled. But one of the characters I do feel that way for is Saiko Osabe from Oshimi Shuzo's manga Blood on the Tracks. There will be both...
No idea what this is, but let's listen.
The timestamps to avoid both of these are in the description and on screen now, and I will also provide a major spoiler warning as we get closer to it in this section of the video. At first...
Akuma, that is a retarded fucking question. Who would win? The guy that street fights and has clones, or the dude that can obliterate solar systems? Like, what? Nobody in Street Fighter can even match up to Yamcha. I'm not even joking. No single character in Street Fighter can even match up to Yamcha. That's some weak sauce.
Saiko comes across more or less as a loving wife and normal mother. She takes care of her family and displays a great amount of affection and desire to protect, specifically for her young son, Seiichi. However, even within the first few chapters, the phenomenal art style and art direction is able to subtly communicate something silently lurking below the surface. There's something weird in how she behaves and how she looked. In fact, every character looks vaguely uncanny. When Seiko smiles, there is some odd sense to the artwork that makes her character feel alive in the way art shouldn't be able to achieve. While on a hike with his family, Seiichi's cousin is fooling around by the cliffside before nearly falling off before Seiko saves him. And there's this odd pause, a stretch of just panels before we see Seiichi's cousin's face, and Seiko pushes him off of the cliff by herself. And as she turns around to look at her son, who just bore witness to the murder of his cousin committed by his own mom, she gives a haunting smile, with Seiichi staring in disbelief before Seiko falls to her knees and screams for help. From there, Seiko starts to act strange before screaming out that they need to look for the child that she just pushed over the mountain.
What the fuck is this manga? I have no idea what this is, but this seems insane, and I'm digging it.
Causing Seiichi to need to grapple with the fact that he just watched his mother kill his own cousin. And it's from there that a small lie is shared between these two, with Seiichi knowing what his mother did, but so confused by her behavior that he becomes unsure. The shared knowledge of the truth building pressure upon pressure as Seiko's obsession over her son begins to turn to vicious manipulation, with her tactics changing and shifting depending on what she wants to use him for. She shifts from love bombing and behaving vaguely incestuous to being cruel and physically violent to employing absolutely brutal reverse psychology, slowly stripping him away of every sense of person.
Alright, I'm not trying to turn this into a Dragon Ball discussion, but Akuma, if you truly believe that, you're retarded. And I mean that with all the love in the world. But saying that nobody in Street Fighter would stack up to Yamcha is like saying nobody in Street Fighter would stack up to Hercule. No. No, Hercule and Yamcha are on complete... Look. Yamcha was... Okay. The Cyberman that killed Yamcha. Let's go back to just fucking the Saiyan arc of Dragon Ball. Let's not discount the fact that Yamcha, like everybody else, gets stronger as the show goes on. Not to the extent of Goku and whatnot, but he does. Let's just look at this Saiyan arc. The Cyberman that killed Yamcha is known to be as strong as Raditz. Now, Raditz seems like a nothing burger because of how insane the power scaling gets. But Raditz alone was a fucking, like, continent buster. Raditz could easily eradicate entire islands, archipelagos, fucking, yes. Like, we're talking about, there are he is one of the 3 Saiyans left, and he has been taking over entire planets with Nappa and Vegeta. And Yamcha is at minimum that strong by the time the Cybermen are introduced. Yamcha beat the Cyberman technically, and the Cyberman used his self-destruct and killed him. Hercule is a regular dude. Yamcha is at the very minimum a city buster. Minimum in the Saiyan arc. He's a city buster. Like, that is bananas to equate Yamcha and Hercule. Anyway.
Identity that Seiichi has until she is the only thing that he is able to think about. The mental pressure and desperation that builds up in Seiichi becomes nearly impossible to read without grimacing and feeling a haunting mix of disgust and fear for Seiko, whose ability to seed and manipulate entire fabrications and situations slowly destroys Seiichi's life. Just take a look at how brutal she can be right here after Seiichi finally gets the courage to confront her about what he saw on that fateful day, thanks to spending time with a girl in his class named Fukushi. Quote, "Are you saying mommy is lying?" "I'm not lying. I would never push Shige like that. Mommy understands how you feel. You convinced yourself that I pushed him. You wanted to make me the bad guy. You blamed yourself, didn't you?"
I will say, like, when this dude's entire video is about seeing yourself in a character, he's being way too long-winded about this one manga. Like, there's definitely a way to shorten this up, because, again, I'm sure this is an interesting video, and it started off very interesting, but I'm getting bored. You need to get to the point, homie. This is... I was having more fun talking about Dragon Ball with the audience, and I want to be invested in this. Come on, move on.
"You thought that what happened to Shige was your fault. It's because you're so kind, say. But you got it all mixed up in the head, made it so you couldn't talk. You couldn't talk and you were all messed up and blamed it on me. You told yourself mommy had gone crazy. You didn't want it to be your fault, you poor thing. To think you turned to a vulgar little tramp like Fukushi. But I understand, we were like you and me. We're in the same boat. It's been hard for me too. Please understand how I feel. Please, please say remember what happened, what really happened." "Do you remember now?" To which Seiichi's face is left in this ghoulish, uncanny smile. However, it's her behavior after this brutal verbal onslaught that takes her manipulation to the next level. Sei had just spent the night at Fukushi's house, a girl he has had a crush on who both bond over having abusive parents. But while the two didn't get up to anything sexual, Sei did have his first admission, dirtying his underwear. And so, it feels so grossly uncomfortable where immediately in the next scene where after Seiko dotes and holds Sei, she retrieves his dirty underwear and begins to
This is
viciously
fucking
condemn
weird.
him, despite Sei not knowing exactly why it happened or what is happening to his body. The art becomes shaky and horrifying, and Seiko begins to berate him, calling him filthy and looking at him as disgusted before literally throwing him out of the house, causing Sei to scream out and beg for her to forgive him, letting him sit outside in tears, begging until he starts to cry before saying...
So, Dax, I thought the same thing. But I can't really say much because I got, like, a permanent case of Midwest mushmouth. So.
Quote, "I hate them too, and I'll hate Fukushi, so please forgive me." Before Seiko, from the other side of the door, whispers, quote, "You will hate them? Haven't you always hated them?" And it's only after he confirms that she opens the door and makes him promise, embracing him in her love once again, with that eerily living smile plastered on her face.
Alright, you better give a really good justification for why we just spent 5 minutes on this one fucking manga. Because again, this is supposed to be about seeing yourself in a character, and you just gave us a dissertation on some whack-ass manga that no one's ever heard of. Like, this better be real fucking relevant.
Continue. I want to ask you, what do you think is the core of Seiko's character? What was your gut inclination, the first word that came to mind? Was it fear, or obsession, or control, or is she just a psychopath? What I find interesting about her character is that for the vast majority of the story, we are never directly told or shown what it is. The story puts us in the mind of Sei and lets us observe and interact in a way that forces us to draw our own conclusions about who she is. But there are small moments, a brief look at to what could be lurking under all the manipulation and all the pain. But when what that is actually revealed, I couldn't help but just sit back and stare at my screen in uncomfortable and quiet horror. Quote, Mom would often get angry at Dad, and they would both get angry at me. I was 6 when my sister was born. She was always lying down in the inner room. She was a weak child. My mom was always taking care of her and talking to her gently, but to me, she'd always say that I was useless.
There you go.
She didn't want me. This is a recount of Seiko's early life to her son, with Seiko herself now in old age. And as she recounts her life and what shaped her, there is a sense of hollowness. So many broken dreams and terrible memories. See, there was always something wrong with Seiko for as long as she can remember. For some reason, she always felt impossibly distant to everyone who was close to her. And after her nephew is born, Seiko's sister-in-law tells her that things can change when you have children, and that things will change for her too. But she isn't able to grapple with that idea, because she's not even sure if she was happy to be born at all. But her husband mentions that people feel grateful to be alive after they...
Guys, I had to step away for a moment. Bear with me. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. What I missed? Alright. What, no chair in Paris? Do people really love chair streams that much? I mean, I won't lie. The reason that I don't give a chair stream is because, I mean, I guess I could always do this and leave it on the chair, but, like, when content creators just leave a video up that they're reacting to, it is such poor form and poor taste that, like, I find it to be... Even if I'm not enjoying the video or whatnot, or it just seems disrespectful, so I put it on the now waiting stream or screen.
Experience love, and even though Seiko herself is impossibly and emotionally distant, she accepts that. Quote, I'll love that child from the moment he's born. No, even before he's born. He won't have to go through a life feeling as lonely as I have. I'll give him everything. Everything I wanted, everything I never had. This time, I can give that to him. I'll start over and do it right this time. It didn't go anywhere. He'll have it in my stead. I'll give you all the love you need, so you'll never be lonely. And although she was promised and told that happiness and joy and closeness was going to be given when she had this child, that isn't what happened. Because there is still something broken in Seiko's heart. quote, I truly loved that child.
Pause, Dax,
but for
pause.
some reason, I felt so distant. My loneliness would not go away.
Bro, this is a 25-minute video about what makes you see yourself in a character. And we spent nearly 7 to 8 minutes to be charitable to his beginning on this one fucking manga. Dude, this kind of blows. I won't lie. So far, this kind of blows. You had such an interesting premise, and I don't care about it because of your execution.
When will these feelings heal? Not long after this, her sister passed away, and despite trying her hardest to cry, she wasn't able to because everything was just too far away. And at her sister's funeral, Seiko's mother utters the shattering words that I believe truly broke her mind. Quote, Seiko, you drained it all up. You drained up everyone's happiness and took it for yourself. And suddenly, the next time I saw Seiko's face, this old woman unraveled completely. That I had labeled as insane or crazy suddenly seemed horrifyingly human. And within the true core of her character, I didn't see a monster, but I did see a mirror. This is what brilliant and fantastic characters are able to do. They are able to draw us in and captivate us by manipulating what lies at the deepest part of what a character is and who they are supposed to be in the story. And from there, we are able to relate to and understand parts of both of them and ourselves that we never would have before. And
You did not, now that I finally know what he's saying, you did not even give us a fucking 7-minute dissertation on this manga to do that. Like, what, again, I mean, I can't say shit. Clearly, people are clicking on the video. It's got almost 200,000 views, but, yeah, no, I think this is a terrible way to make a video. If you're going to do this, you need to do it with a mainstream character that everyone's aware of. Like you could have done this exact same thing, like, say, with the Joker and use the Killing Joke. Why? Because that is a far more mainstream, popular character that even if people don't really know what you're saying, they'll be interested because of the subject matter of the character. Like, I'm still here because I'm doing a reaction to the video. If I clicked on this on my own, I'd have clicked on this video 5 minutes ago. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm an asshole. But yeah, this is rough.
And it's that uncomfortable familiarity, that brief exchange where you see
Agreed, Hugo. Agreed.
a character that makes them and the story they're in feel real. The reason I harp on this idea of the core or the essence of a character is because it's usually
yeah, the Joker has been dissected to death, but you get my point. If you had done this with a mainstream character, it would keep people's attention because at this point, because he goes on and on about this manga for 7 minutes, it's losing the idea of the title of the video, which is when you see yourself in a character. So you need to use a character that is iconic and easy for so many people to, for better or worse, see themselves in. That way they can inherently relate to it more, even if even if it's long-winded.
The most condensed or simplified version of what that character is communicating. Let's say that we call Seiko's core loneliness or sadness or longing or void and use that central idea to link it to other characters. Characters like Pun Pun, Griffith, Shoya, or Denji would reasonably be able to take on an aspect of her core, but all those characters are distinctly different from Seiko, not necessarily because the core is different, but because the expressions of it are. And typically, it's when both the expressions of this core element and the core itself feel familiar and tangible that we are able to see fuller pictures of ourselves in a character. If I asked you that same question I did at the beginning of what characters do you see yourself in but offer this boundary, how many would you cut from your original list? Or how many would you add in? This is how people can see themselves in Denji and Makima, or in Guts and Griffith simultaneously, because it doesn't break the logic of why we relate to characters, but instead spreads it out infinitely to give us vastly more touch points on what we can attach ourselves to. And it's from the—
Homie just spent 12 minutes to effectively say, people are complicated. Like, I shit you not. Homie just spent 12 minutes to say, people are complicated. Yo, this is why my videos, at least in my opinion, are just like, I would usually say short. They're not, this is why I don't script my videos. There is such a thing as too much, and do cross that line like 6.5, 7 minutes ago. Like, unscripted videos like what I do, you turn the camera on, you fucking talk, and then you're done when you don't have anything else to say. You don't have to sit there and write out a script and like try and be clever and try and be wordy. Now, I do scripted videos. Very rarely, but I do them. But even my scripted videos are usually pretty fucking short. Like my comparing Alien to Resident Evil video is like 8.5 minutes or something. This is, yeah, dude, this is word salad.
Attachments that we are able to become interwoven with these stories. Comfort characters are one of the things that have come forward with this idea.
Yeah, no kidding. Give this guy a job to write speech for politicians.
Can work as a safe haven to real people who are undergoing real life challenges. So let's take a look at them and see if we can answer the question of why. Why is it important that characters we see ourselves in and comfort characters exist? Well, characters like One Piece's Luffy, Hinata Shoyo from Haikyuu, heck, Levi Ackerman from AOT are all pretty popular characters, and by extension, their respective series can also be popular comfort series, except AOT. Comfort characters are an interesting adaptation to what we talked about thus far.
To answer Dax's question, I do still need to watch Ironheart. I was supposed to watch it with the Doolies. I think they just up and did it without me or whatnot. And so I was like, oh, well, now how do I go about doing this? Because I had a plan, and the plan got messed up. So, yeah, I will need to watch Ironheart and whatnot. But, yeah, I've just got to come up with a time frame and whatnot to do so.
Because more often than not, there is usually some sort of sense of safety or nostalgia associated with them. When characters like Levi or Gojo are comfort characters, there's usually some sort of sense that you're finding not just yourself in them, but also something that you miss or desire from them. Maybe it's the safety of feeling like when Gojo and Levi are on the screen, whatever danger is out there will be defeated by them. Attaching yourself to that sense of feeling protected under that character's identity can give you real-life soothing or distress from whatever's currently going on in your life.
Man, I hate characters like this. I fucking hate comfort characters. Like, it's just everyone's idea of a comfort character is different. But I hate characters like this being comfort characters. Like, I don't like Attack on Titan. But even when I was watching season 1 and 2, and when I did like it, before it turned to absolute shit, I fucking hated Levi. Dude, like, characters like this are absolutely boring to me. They're boring, dude. I don't get how characters like that can be a comfort character. I don't know. Like, give me what you guys think of as comfort characters, and I will let you know if they pass my fucking test.
Characters like Hinata and Luffy, it may just be that relaxed setting of high school volleyball where no matter how grand the stakes, there are still safety and fun within the sport. Or in the world of One Piece, it's the sense of family you get from spending time with the Straw Hats and enjoying the power of freedom and dreams. There's also
Matt, a comfort character, as I understand it, is a character that makes you feel like makes you feel safe when they're on screen. Like a character that makes you feel almost like your ideal safety net or idealized version of a human or a person or whatnot. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the way I'm understanding comfort characters. Literally, characters that bring you emotional comfort.
In a sense of familiarity. If you've already seen a show, you don't need to reallocate more of your mental stack to processing new information and can simply enjoy the presence or environment and allow the dopamine of comfort to wash away whatever is stressing you out. Of course, comfort characters aren't limited to this type of association with safety. For example, Guts is one of my all-time favorite comfort characters, not necessarily because of the world or the fact that he is an invincible ruler, but because it's easy for me to find attachment to that sense of struggling onward that he illustrates. From just a small touch point like that, comfort characters can be something you relate to, miss, or admire, or often a mix of all three. In the same
I'm with you, Dax. This video is incredibly aimless, but I started the reaction. I owe it to the creator, even if it's a bad video, to finish it out.
Way that it can be horrifying and uncomfortable to see yourself in a fiction.
Roy Mustang. That's a good comfort character. Why is that a good comfort character? Because Roy can fail. Roy is fallible. Roy is, he toes the line between mysterious and interesting without being like a Boba Fett type or he has no character. Yeah, I can respect Roy Mustang.
Character, it can be comforting and inspiring when you identify with them or attach to their dynamics. But all this got me wondering about the psychology of comfort characters. Why do we even do this? Well, a large reason we develop these parasocial relationships with these
Hughes is an even better character, in my opinion. In fact, if he started this video like, oh, what characters do you identify with? Literally, Maze Hughes was one of the first 4 characters that popped into mind. Like, Maze Hughes, if I have to identify with any anime character ever, like, Maze Hughes is always my number 1.
Could have quite a bit to do with attachment styles. In a dissertation written by Colin Steele from Reagan University, he writes on page 21, quote, "The development of attachment is characterized by distinguishing factors such as proximity maintenance, seeking physical closeness to the attachment figure, safe haven, retreating to the attachment figure for comfort and protection under potentially threatening conditions, secure base, feeling safe and secure to explore with the protection of the attachment figure against threats and danger, and the experience of separation distress when perceived loss of access is detected."
That was so much. There was so much there, and he said it so fast. Like, he said it fast, but somehow boringly. I wouldn't normally do this, but you guys just want to quit this video? I wouldn't normally do it, but, like, I'm going to do a poll in the chat, and I'll give, like, a couple minutes to answer. I wouldn't normally, but yeah. I'm not even gonna put a poll in the chat. All y'all are saying quit. That's good enough for me. Yeah, this sucked.
Associated with
this sucked. Look, sorry Beyond Media, but this is a terrible video, dude. That was awful. I don't even know where to go with that. Like, how do I commentate on a video that is so aimless? Like, have you ever heard like a 4-year-old tell you a story and it goes in a million different directions because they don't understand the concept of a story as beginning, middle, and end? That is what that was. That was fucking painful. Like, it was such an interesting premise. The first 2 minutes of that video did start off really strong. And then it just went nowhere. You blame me because I kept interrupting? Trust me, I made that shit far more interesting. Yeah. Fuck all that. Alright, we got one more video before the stream is over. Someone sent this to me. I don't remember who it was. And it's an older video. But I want to be angry. I want to feel anger. So someone in one of my group chats, I don't think it was any of you guys in the Discord. I think it was like Nick from the Plot Strikes Back, or someone sent me this to rile me up. Maybe fucking Vex even. Vex may have sent me this. Now, it's a year-old video, and it only got 1,200 views. For you guys, it only got, 1,200 views. A year ago, 477 subs. I'm not... This is punching down, but I'm A-okay with this. Resident Evil's hidden queer characters revealed. And yeah, this is terrifying. Like, this is, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a fucking guy or a girl but yeah, please be Tofu. That's good. So we're going to watch this, and by the way, I preemptively disliked this video. And we're going to dunk on this creature.
I'm going to tell you something a great swath of gamers... Okay, listen. I'm going to tell you something...
Starting a video with okay, listen is a great way for me to instantly dislike. Good thing I took care of that already.
A great swath of gamers not only don't know, don't want to hear, but they don't want me to tell you. They're...
Shaved side of the head. What a shock. Alright, I think from the voice that this is a girl. Allegedly. Let's see what this creature has to say about hidden queer characters. I just want to dunk on some bitches. Let's go.
There are queer characters in Resident Evil. Several are confirmed by those who wrote them, and there are a couple more fan favorites, some believe are queer, that I will reveal at the end. But I want to know, though, what are your theories? Who do you feel is queer? Horror has always been queer, from pulp novels...
Guys, we're 34 seconds in, and we already got horror has always been queer. Let's go. This bitch about to get fucking dunked on.
To horror movies. There were some of the first.
Wait, there's a rainbow in my alphabet soup. That is fucking, that's diabolical.
To embrace queer characters. I mean, sure, we were always the bad guys, but we were there, and it was a first. Horror is about being othered, and that is a distillation of the queer experience. That being said, Resident Evil hasn't always done right by the queer community. In past games,
I'll be real, guys. I never in my life, and I've been playing Resident Evil since I was fucking 4 years old. I've never in my life thought about what characters were gay, with the exception of the very obvious Alfred Ashford, because dude's a fucking cross-dresser. Like, oh, dude, this is gonna be fun, guys. Kick back. This is what the lunch hour is for.
the few, and by that I mean one, queer character was judged by our heroes and the game itself and graded.
Yep, this creature is already talking about Alfred Ashford. Dude, this visage of whatever the fuck this is on screen right now, this amorphous blob, is more terrifying than anything you would find in the Spencer Mansion.
Thankfully, it feels like things are a bit better in recent years. Still, there's room for improvement. There have been queer characters, but unless you really dug, and I mean really dug into it, you'd have no idea.
If you have to really dig into whether a character's a fucking homo or not, they're probably not a homo. I'm just saying.
Even being dug into it as far as in-game lore, I mean specific Google searches or following just the right author on social media. Amazing folks.
Just the right author can be translated very easily to just the wrong author.
Have been making characters in Resi games queer for years. But the vast majority
yes, cryptic manga,
of fans
fanfic.
have absolutely no idea. So, who are they? Let's start with what we know for sure. Tyrone Henry, the tanky athletic guy from Resident Evil Resistance, is gay.
You gotta start your video off with a fucking non-canon multiplayer game that nobody fucking played? Bro, talk about grasping for straws, or in the case of this creature's weight, gasping for straws, because just reaching out is going to tucker this motherfucker out.
Al Yang, the studio creative director for Neobards, the folks behind Resistance, took to social media to say,
right, so not Capcom for this non-canon spin-off game that no one played. Gotcha. It's basically impossible to tell, but the character setting for Tyrone is that he is gay. The goal was to write this without becoming the sole base of his character. I mean, I can respect that. Good. The nature of PvP-only games makes revealing this kind of info sometimes feel pretty abrupt.
it's basically impossible to tell, but the character setting for Tyrone is that he is gay. But the goal was to write this without it becoming the sole basis of his character. The nature of PvP-only games makes revealing this kind of info sometimes feel pretty
correct,
abrupt.
Matt.
Amazing. A character was gay from the get-go. You love to see it. I wish there'd been a way for us to get that context in-game, but
You contradictory motherfucker! Oh good, he was gay and we didn't know. It shows that gay is being accepted and normalized. But I wish we would have gotten that from the character. Those don't fucking mesh!
I totally get why that wasn't really an option. It would have been nice to see some sort of in-game lore or character unlock option had you played him a lot. That would have been fantastic to see.
Why? Why would that have been fantastic to see? What about seeing fucking global homo Tyrone here would have been fantastic to see? See, that's what it is with these people. It's never enough that the character's gay. We need to see it every fucking second. We need an unlockable. We need him in a rainbow plaid outfit.
Crispin D.A. Jettingham from Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City is also gay.
Another non-canon spinoff not made directly by Capcom, and also arguably the single most hated game in this series. That's your second pick. Dude, you are scraping the bottom of the barrel. Jesus Christ.
In a Polygon article by Emily Guerra interviewing Atraeus.
Polygon as a source, guys. Polygon as a source. Now, I was mad at whoever sent me this video. I'm in love. If it was Vex, I'm going to just give her a big old kiss next time I see her. This is beautiful.
Bullied, the game's writer and creative director, Adam attests. Crispin Jettingham, the leader of the U.S. Special Forces team of Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, is gay. I know because I created him. Adam goes on to explain how he came up with Crispin's nickname, DA, which is short for Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the official United States policy on military service of queer folks who serve. Bullied very much wrote Crispin's sexuality into his larger identity. Speaking of his backstory,
this character has no larger identity. Because this game is non-canon. Because it was rejected by fans. Because it wasn't even made by Capcom. Jesus Christ.
DA's was that he was a gay man. Serving
yes,
quietly
Polygon's an unironic source.
He
10
was
out of 10,
overtly
pure
or
cinnamon.
Stereotypically gay, he was just like the many gay people who serve in the military. A good, dedicated soldier. DA was awesome. He was super dope, and you wanted to actually hang out with him. You'll love to see that sort of representation. The one I'm
Razzle, you are so wrong. It's not even funny, but I'm not going to argue with it on this stream. We've got more important things to do, like making fun of homos.
personally the most excited to hear is confirmed. Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village. The
Big Dyke energy. Guys, I'm gonna be real. I don't care if Lady Dimitrescu is gay or not. Resident Evil 8 is a bad Resident Evil game.
The only queer woman we have in the Resident Evil games. I mean, sure, Evelyn Marcus is officially a lesbian, but that was in the Netflix Resident Evil TV show. It's good to see we have one on our team in the games.
Why? Why is it? Yes, it's good that the evil vampire lady who tortures and abuses people, it's great that they're on our team. Do these people think before they speak? I love it that the weakest, easiest to beat boss in the game is on our team. Yeah, like straight people are a team, right?
Anthony Johnston took to Instagram to clarify that through his contribution to writing everyone's favorite vampire mommy, that he always considered her uninterested in men, saying in response...
So wait, he considered her? Did you create the character? Again, even if Lady D is gay, I'll be real, that kind of makes her character worse because of the way she sexualizes Ethan in the game. What?
To a Pink News article by Amelia Hanford on the matter, I can't speak.
They went from Source and Polygon, unironically, to Source and Pink News. Oh, I may have found my new favorite channel.
For everyone else at Capcom, obviously. But as far as I'm concerned, the only thing about men that makes Lady D horny is their blood. We know he was the scriptwriter for much of not only the story, but for many of Lady D's lines specifically.
I would not brag about being the scriptwriter for one of the weakest canon Resident Evil games story-wise. Like, that is an own to unimaginable levels. Oh, it's amazing. We're 5 minutes in out of 9 minutes. She's given us 3 characters. 2 of them are non-canon spin-off characters that weren't even made by Capcom, that nobody cares about or remembers. And the third is the weakest boss in the most recent game that is evil, and that only exists because of horny fucking fans, and again, is evil, and is one of the fucking worst games in the series. Truly, a thing of beauty.
Anthony, I raise a glass to you, my friend. We don't really need to talk about what's in it. Resident Evil, like the majority of video games and most media, has always handled queerness with care and respect. In fact, even in fan favorites like Resident Evil Code Veronica, Alfred Ashford is treated in a very problematic way by the...
Alright. I could do an entire video much like this creature did, but just about Alfred Ashford and about how it doesn't matter if Alfred is gay or not. Alfred is a psychotic, broken man who cosplays as his abusive sister. Like, I'm gonna be real, this is probably the most, factually allegorical tranny character that could ever be done. Trust me, this is how these types should be depicted in media.
Game's heroes. The script has Claire and Steve saying very inflammatory and transphobic things to Alfred.
Alfred isn't trans, by the way. Alfred isn't trans. For those of you that have never played the game, here's the quick version. Alfred and Alexia, I know I got her name wrong. I'm saying it to not activate the robot across the room. Alfred and Alexia Ashford are twins. Alfred was kind of normal, basic in terms of his intelligence, maybe a little above average, but nothing compared to his sister, who is a sociopathic super genius. And he has a borderline incestuous obsession with his sister, so that when she dies, he starts becoming her. He wears her clothes, puts on a fake voice, the whole nine, and goes crazy because of what happened to his sister and because of you, like, meddling in the affairs of him and his family. And yes, Hippo, Alfred's sick in the head. That's what makes him the main villain for the first half of the game. Mind you, the first half, because he's unceremoniously killed by his own sister that he has a borderline incestuous obsession with. If I recall, it's been a long time since I played Code Veronica, but I'm pretty sure she kills him. Yeah, he's not trans. He's just a psycho who pretends to be his sister. Like, this would be like claiming that Norman Bates is trans because he dresses up as his mother and whatnot.
Here's where we can wildly speculate who's queer, but just isn't announced yet. I do not ever recommend this for real people. This includes actors of characters that you love. It is incredibly damaging to have the control of announcing your identity to the world wrenched away from you. Let's all just be cool to each other.
I will never be cool to you. Not because you are some sort of demon with a YouTube camera, but because you have just such terrible opinions on the greatest video game franchise of all time. You have, that and the shaved side of your head has revoked your cool with each other card.
Now that that's covered, let's get to it. Many men in the gay community feel that...
Why does this thing always look like it's in pain? Like, hold on. Watch its face when it says, let's get to it. It looks like it's being stabbed in its enormous gut just off camera.
From you. Let's all just be cool to each other. Now that that's covered, let's get to it. Many men...
Does it not look like Rachel Dratch? Like, in the, was it the Negative Nancy or whatever SNL sketches?
Men in the gay community feel that Chris Redfield is gay. Or...
I knew it. I knew she was going to bring up, I guarantee you she's going to bring up Chris, Jill, and Ada at the very least. Nobody, by the way, nobody, yeah, SNL's Pat, that's another one. Nobody in the history of Resident Evil that actually understands these characters in these games thinks Chris is gay. Not a single fucking real player thinks that Chris is gay.
At least a gay icon. And honestly, I'm pretty inclined to agree. If we look at the pattern of writers and the creative staff behind our fave Resident Evil titles to inform us of the presence of a character's queerness, all we have to do is look at...
I'm just going to go out on a guess, just a wild limb here, and say that the reasoning is because he does not have a romantic relationship with Jill. And that's got to be the reason. Catch you later, Valiant Goat. Because these folks are so obsessed with sex and like literal sex and fucking that, like, how could Chris have such a platonic relationship with Jill if he wasn't a fucking homo? Like, I don't know. Maybe they're just brothers and sisters in arms. Maybe they're just comrades who have gone through thick and thin together. Maybe there's best friends, because dudes and women can be friends. And maybe Chris slays mad poon on the side. Like, I've never been a Chris and Jill shipper. Never in my life. I bet that's going to be this thing's reasoning.
Chris's sailor outfit from Revelations. Gee, I wonder if someone on the design team was a fan of Tom of Finland?
So because he has a non-canon alternate outfit, like, y'all know that Jill has a dominatrix outfit as one of her alternate costumes. That doesn't mean Jill is actually a dominatrix. Like, Ashley Graham has a suit of armor as one of her alternate outfits. Ashley Graham is not a 14th century knight.
Sailor Chris is basically a Tom of Finland's chef's kiss. A real revelation. Many fans probably had a revelation about this outfit. And if that's not good enough for you, there is literally a change.org petition that's surprisingly close to its goal.
I wonder if this is still there. All right, Chris Redfield to be officially part of the LGBT community. Hold on. Let's see if this is really a thing. Change.org. All right, so this video is from a year ago. Chris Redfield to be officially part of the LGBT community. Let's search. Oh, hold on. Chris Redfield to be officially part of the LGBT community. Oh, is it not even here anymore? Hold on. Let's Chris Redfield, LGBT. Let's try that. God, it's not even here anymore. It's not even here anymore. Let's just do Chris Redfield. Still nothing. Still, like, this doesn't even exist anymore. That is amazing. This shit didn't even meet its goal. Alright. Resident Evil has sold, let's see. Hold on. How many Resident Evil copies have sold total? Like, the Resident Evil video game franchise sold over 170 million copies worldwide. So you've got, you conservatively say 170 million fans. 170 million fans at the minimum, and they couldn't even get 1,500 people to ask Chris to be a homo. This is beautiful.
Officially add Chris to the queer family. At the time of this recording, I think they were shy about 285 signatures. Wouldn't it be fun if we just pushed that over the line?
Hold on.
So 85 signatures.
I just noticed. Guys, look at the date on the petition. Hold on. My screen's blocking it. So the date on the petition says it was started January 25th, 2019. This came out a year ago. So it took them 5 years to get 1,200 signatures. It took them 5 years to get the amount of signatures in a high school graduating class. That's amazing.
At the time of this recording, I think they were shy about 285 signatures. Wouldn't it be fun if we just pushed that over the line? So, who do I think is queer, but just not announced?
Hold on, even better.
We could go over.
Told you they'd say Jill, first of all. 1,200 views, 1,200 signatures. This video has the same amount of viewers for its fucking gay audience or whatever as that thing had. Hold on. Does this creature still upload? 3 characters Resident Evil needs to be back. Didn't even get 1,000 views. The real story behind Resident Evil Unboxed Art. Alright, so to be fair, it looks like it does actually cover non-gay shit. But no, it is not uploaded in a year. Dead channel. Awkwardly charming middle-aged scaredy cat who found... Oh, so you do use her pronouns. Love of horror, just to feel something during a midlife crisis, and now I'm here to say... So you're not even an OG fan. Not even an OG fan. I used to run a small mom-and-pop shop video game store and love talking about it and telling deep dives into video games. Delightful weirdo, join me. Oh my goodness. I'm not even gonna try and go to its socials or whatnot. That's a step too far.
Stereotypes that are arguably useless. We could talk about how Jill isn't interested in dating men, at least in the games I've played, and how she very freely rebuffs Carlos's charming advances.
Rebuffs Carlos's guys. For those of you that are not fans of the franchise and don't know, the entire city has gone to hell in a handbasket. Zombies and monsters are everywhere, and Carlos works for Umbrella, the enemy. Yeah, no shit. She rebuffs his advances. Fucking hell.
But honestly, none of that really matters. I mean, Jill could be a lesbian, Jill could be ace. Most of what makes me feel that Jill is queer are more than just useless stereotypes or character traits that are used for queer coding. Most of what makes me feel she's queer are the aspects of her personality that most mirror my own.
So projection! You literally just used like 4 sentences to basically say, I'm projecting the fact that I'm a lesbo onto Jill. What? Yeah, no, yeah, fuck the RE3 remake, by the way. Hate that game. One of the worst games ever.
I see a lot of myself in Jill, and I'm gay as heck. Other female characters are sidelined, or they're pushed off to go do something not as heroic, not as athletic, not as actiony, but not Jill. She jumps right in with the boys. In fact, sometimes she pushes them out of the way.
Resident Evil has always had strong female characters. Yet Jill, Rebecca, Claire, Ada, Sherry, maybe Helena. I could keep going. Like, that was 6 off the top of the dome. That doesn't make them gay!
I will say, too, she could also be ace. I mean, based on her disinterest in dating.
Dax and R, the only time I can think of it is in the original Resident Evil 3, because I don't even remember this happens in the remake. In the original Resident Evil 3, Carlos is having a mental breakdown about what's going on, and Jill literally slaps some sense into him. Like, just hauls off and pops his ass. And it's a good moment. Why? Because Jill, the main character, and in my opinion, the fucking best member of STARS, is taking control of the situation. Not because she's a fucking girl, but because she's a badass.
At least in the games I've played. Honestly. Regardless of her sexuality, I think she's rad as heck, and I'll continue to enjoy her amazing role in the Resident
Hippo, Jill is my favorite Resident Evil character. I go back and forth on whether it's Jill or Leon, but usually I end up on Jill. Like, Jill is my all-time favorite Resident Evil character. And has been since, like, 1998.
universe. To me, my hero Jill is queer. Maybe your hero Jill is different, but unless and until they announce her one way or the other, in my head...
I mean, I agree. I agree, Dex. He says it's not pushing him out of the way. That's her in survival mode, trying to bring him back. By the same token, whether she does it to assert dominance or not, it is still her taking control of the situation. So if he at any point thought he was in control, which I don't really think he did, but the point is, you could argue that is pushing his temporary failure out of the way to take control. And yes, I've noticed that this thing keeps saying that too, Matt, at least in the games I've played. Let me guess, that's limited to all the games you've mentioned. Yeah, notice how there's not been any footage of the original PS1 games at play here. It's all been shit from the PS4 and onward.
And in my heart, Jill's a lesbian. I did a lot of research for this video.
No, you didn't.
Take any of the articles I referenced in this video and link them in the description below. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. If you could help me defeat the algorithm by liking or subscribing.
No, I'm not doing none of that. I'm not. In fact, I disliked the video, which I guess still does technically help the algorithm. But you know, that was rough. But by God, was it fucking funny. My hero Jill. Stop. There's no your hero Jill. There's Jill. And the way the series wrote her, I don't give a fuck about your Jill, you narcissistic idiot. Based AF. Oh, I told y'all that they would fucking throw Jill in there. Ooh, a thing of beauty, guys. That video was a thing of beauty. I had a blast. What a great way to round out today's stream. Let me find out who we're raiding real quick. Alright, let's see. Customization. Redirect. Alright, let's see who's live right now. Nadia's live. Smooth the DJ's live. BCL is live. Cult Classic Cage is live. Tomby. Abysmal Adventures. I don't know who that is. I don't know why it's... Alright. Let's raid Cass. Yeah, let's raid Cassie, because I'm going to be raiding Nadia on Tuesday, so let's raid Cassie. Alright, guys. Oh, Cass is playing RE2? Perfect! Even better. We're definitely going to do that then. Alright, guys, before we get out of here, I just want to say thank you so much for the donos. It truly means the world to me. I absolutely apologize that I was late. I did not mean to do that. Again, I guess I just forgot to set my alarm. I thought I set it. I did not. So yeah, thank you. Truly appreciated. And for those of you that didn't or can't or whatnot, that's A-okay. Enzo, I watched the first 2 episodes of Interspecies Reviewers last night. What do you think? Before we go, Enzo, what did you think of the first 2 episodes of Interspecies Reviewers? I gotta know. Very funny and perverted. Alright, that's good enough for me. Guys, I released a video today about the, if we want more queer content, I released a video today about Globo Homo melting down that Wednesday in Wednesday Season 2 is not gay. They are so upsetty spaghetti. It's amazing. So yeah, Wednesday is not gay. People are upset. Check that video out if you haven't. Like my Melody Matt video did amazing. This one's doing middling. So yeah, I would truly appreciate it. And until next, again, stick around for the raid. We're gonna raid Cassie. Tell her Vital Idol raid. And I'll see you all for SNH tonight. Until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.